Welcome, everybody, to the Dragon's Den, a Brazilian dragon production. I am someone who is actively awaiting the day where Nurse Emma and Nurse Dana take home $1 million on The Amazing Race, the Brazilian dragon himself, Felipe. And I am joined today in the Dragon's Den by Aubrey Bracco's #1 fan in life, Mel. Mel, welcome back to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Aubrey for Survivor 50. Woo woo
Yes, your
woo.
girl. We love how loyal you are. You're just like Emma and Dana to Aubrey.
Yeah,
Like
like she's a
two
true
peas in a
friend.
pod.
Yeah, we're two peas in a pod. We are longtime friends, friends before Survivor. So it's very interesting and cool and a unique experience to have when you are a lifelong Survivor fan. Then you have a friend who gets on it, and your friend is also like considered one of the big names that they want to bring back. Like it's very
Yeah.
surreal and very cool, and it's behind the curtains. You get to learn some stuff sometimes that are interesting factions of the game. And it's really special. I got to go to this week's Bryson Wen event with her as her plus one and to experience like an episode live with your friend and stuff. It's like a very special. And I hope others have that opportunity. It's really cool.
Yeah. It's must be super fascinating and cool to like be friends with someone who has become one of the main faces of the franchise over 25 years. She is one of the key figures of this show, not just because she's on Survivor 50, but like when you think about the 30s, you think about Aubrey as like one of the Mount Rushmore faces of that era of the series. She was brought
Absolutely.
back for every single returning player season she was eligible for.
Yeah,
Uh,
she's helped with like a specific archetype of the show and getting people to cast. And I think it's always so interesting when I see like a new cast member and they say like, who are you going to play like? And they say Aubrey. And I know she's also very polarizing. And a
yeah.
thing that is interesting to get used to is as like a friend, you are rooting for your friend to do well, but others aren't necessarily a fan of that player. But who the player is different than the friend I know. And I do see my friend on TV, don't get me wrong, but like they don't know my friend.
Yeah.
They know a character on TV. So I try to not get too upset when, many of our friends, our group of friends, are not fans of her, which is weird to wrap your head around. But I have to remember that they're talking about a TV character, a Survivor player. Not all game styles are going to resonate. That's why, people root for Joe or for Chrissy, who think people are always like, Chrissy was robbed. I'll tell you, I never felt that way. It wasn't my opinion. But like,
No, I always
there's a player for everybody. That's what's cool about Survivor. And I try not to take it to heart.
Yeah, I definitely can resonate with that. Not to the extent of you, because like I haven't had a friend who's been like a Mount Rushmore face of the series, but like I have a couple friends who have been on the show since I've known them before the series or their run on the show, and it's a very complicated relationship you have with the show, especially when their experience is happening simultaneously to the television product that you're a lifelong fan of, and they might have a different experience than what you're perceiving, and then you're also trying to be a loyal friend, and then you're reading online because you're a fan of the show, but then they're saying things about your friend, and you're like, but you don't know them like this. And then there's also like the people lack nuance online, so then when they it's very like team oriented. I feel like it's like,
Hmm.
oh, you have to be team so and so versus team so and so. Like, I mean, Aubrey's in a very famous example with Michelle. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so like but it's not a team sport. Like, there's a lot more nuance that being chronically online lacks. And then also like these are just strangers on the internet. They don't know the person you know and what they're like, and they contain layers, and I don't know. It's
I'm,
just a complicated situation, and I've experienced it. And then those seasons that my friends happen to be on sometimes aren't my favorite experiences watching them, even though they might be like a generally popular season because they weren't connected in the way. Like 42 for me is like not a great season because of my relationship with Daniel Strunk, and I know he had a bad experience with the show, and the television product and how it all went down. So he doesn't love it, and I don't love 42 because I know how damaging it was to my friend. But like to a lot of people, that's one of the best New Era seasons, and I will never
right.
feel that way.
Yeah. And the other thing too is like we're seeing an edited show.
Exactly.
What we are seeing is a portion of their experience, and they're telling a story of either like who's winning the season, who's losing the season. They're doing little bits of
Yeah.
things. So like either your friends aren't featured or they are featured and it might not be what you want to see. And it just is kind of to tell some sort of an
Yeah.
end story. And I'll give like my example, which is watching the first few weeks of Survivor 50. Um, I was definitely like, I'd asked Aubrey, just like, I hope you had a good time. And she said I had fun. And I messaged her and I was like, did you have fun? Because when I see it, it's hard to see your friend out there just not looking like they're having a good time. But now that Genevieve has been voted off, who was not going to work with her and it was making it difficult for Aubrey to progress in the game, the last two episodes, I've seen like a complete change in her on screen. And as her friend, I see it. I don't know if like fans have seen it, but she looks looser. She looks lighter. I can see her body language is different. It's just like nice to see her having fun. And I'm relieved now that it looks like she's
Yeah.
having a better time than those first few episodes, which were very difficult to see your friend like struggling.
Especially just in the first, like until she hit the merge, I feel like the only friend she had in the game was Tiffany, and like she got along
Yeah.
with Coach. We saw a cool scene with her, actually the one that I met Aubrey at a couple weeks ago, which thank you for putting in the kind words. I really appreciated that. Between you and Zeke, y'all were hyping me up religiously, and Aubrey was so delightful, so sweet, big fan. And it's just like besides Tiffany, it feels like she has Suri, she has Christian, she has Rick, she has Emily, I'm sure is someone that she's getting along with out there. Like there's more people that like aren't fun sponges to her experience. Like besides
Exactly.
Angelina, I feel like her entire first tribe is people that like Aubrey wouldn't regularly be around, especially when you have people like Genevieve, who she had a complex, complicated relationship with, and then Q, who in his last season voted a girl out because she reminded him of Aubrey and liked Aubrey or whatever. That's at least the narrative they painted on 46. So there's like people on that beach that aren't Aubrey's people. Aubrey likes the quirky people, and
Yeah.
now she's with them, and like I mean, Suri just brightens everyone's day. Also,
Everybody. So my top two I'm rooting for,
Suri and Aubrey.
Aubrey, of course, and Suri. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I absolutely love Suri. She's so iconic. What a good episode this week. And what a struggle it would be to pick up all those. One is just like if we think about like ourselves, how hard that would be. But now, like remembering that, like Suri is now what in like her 50s, maybe like to bend over and do that for so long, like that's got to be a toll on your body. I like would lift something like 5 times to move furniture around my place. I'd probably be down for the count tomorrow.
Rizzo
And
would
she's
have
got to
given
then do
up.
that. Yeah, Rizzo would just be like, whose paper can I look off of to do this? I'm
Yes.
actually really liking Rizzo on 50. I think having him on there as the super fan archetype that they always fill, but in particular on season 50, where it's all these legends that he's grown up and watched with, and he's now new era and really like tail end of the new era to lead to a new time.
Yeah.
And it's excitement and joy. And because also it's so close to back, he hasn't had to live through the online hate and bullying and scrutiny that he's just like really living in the moment and represents us at home in a way
Yeah.
that I really enjoy. Where sometimes actually the superfan archetype or, the person that we knew who got on the show isn't always like my favorite character of the season because I think people just sometimes root for people because they know them. Like I'm thinking of like Spencer way back. I remember everybody being so like gaga for Spencer. And I think it was just because he had been like immersed in the
And
community.
he was also
And
an underdog. I think
yeah,
that's
and
also
he
part of
just
it.
was personally not my pick of a player of who I was
Yeah.
rooting for.
No, that season I was rooting for Abby, Jeremy, Kelly Wentworth, and then his first season I was rooting for Tony because Tony was a winner pick he was the first winner pick I ever got right, and I was
I
like
was
a 15-year-old kid losing my mind. I was like, oh my God, I finally got one. I finally got one, and it's Tony, and it's crazy. But like,
I had Woo, so I
yeah,
was rooting for Woo. I've only gotten one winner pick ever right, and
who is it?
it's Nick from David versus Goliath.
Excuse me, I'm gonna go throw up, and then we'll come back and finish the podcast.
I
And then
know. I'm not
Damien, I
saying I
have a
wanted
yeah,
him
no, no,
to
no, I
win. I'm
know.
just saying I predicted him to win.
Yeah.
And
I have for Survivor I've gotten Tony was my first, and then I had Mike Holloway the next year. And then Tommy, I just looked at like the statistics of I just looked at his like profile and it was like a 28, 29-year-old fourth grade
yeah,
teacher. I was like, wrap it up. And then Erica I had as a heart pick, and I didn't really make an official winner pick, but I was like Erica's my favorite from the
so you've
preseason.
got good gut on this. I'm terrible at
But
it.
it's also like it wasn't like an official winner pick. And then Brandon Donlin was technically my winner pick for 45 because he was a longtime friend, but I was like, oh, Dee's shiny. I like her. So I like have like when I don't actually do any like research, I feel like I have a good gut instinct. But then when I actually like watch all the videos, I'm like, so and so.
Yeah, you
And
get
I'm
like
usually
dazzled by
so
them.
off. Like my one that I'm ashamed to admit, you're a Big Brother fan as well. Big Brother 21. I picked Jack, and I was like, this guy's gonna
Mhm.
win. And listen, it was a toxic season. I was off by 3 letters, but I was so embarrassed. Especially I was coming off the high of picking Dane from Big Brother Canada 7, and like one of the most dominant winners in Big Brother history. And yeah, I was just embarrassed about that.
I can't think of
I
my
did pick Chelsea for 26. I was really proud of that one, especially in a draft.
I can't think of, so I stopped doing Big Brother winner picks a while back, but I used to always do them when I had like a blog back in the day.
Was it
Famously,
melgotserved.com?
of course it was. It doesn't exist anymore though.
Yeah.
Famously for like the first few seasons, I did do winner picks on Big Brother. The person I chose went home exactly week 3 every time.
So you were a big Jeff Walden picker?
I don't think he was
Jeff?
there. And I remember the one where I got mad at it and I count it towards my record was when Frank was supposed to get eliminated week
In
3, but they did a
14.
twist.
Yeah.
And then he stayed. I count that to my record because I did pick Frank to win and he was going to go home week 3.
Yeah.
So that counts. But yeah, I can't remember my best performing Big Brother
I
winner
used to
pick.
have
I'd
a
have to go back, but I don't
note.
have my
I
records
used to have a
anymore.
note app, and in there it's gonna be like 4 people from the same The Voice season. Where I was like, oh, I they're like in the contender, but because of the voice format, I bet I could find that would be a fun Dragon's Den episode where it's like I would go through all these winner picks. Like I
Yeah,
had a
see how
notes
wrong
document,
or right you were. Yeah.
and it's like Survivor South Africa. Like I have a first boot in there somewhere. Like,
Yeah, I think
like
I
that.
have a lot of them because I used to ask like people to submit, so I would keep
Yeah.
track of it and I would award winners at the end. And I probably have a lot of those around somewhere. And it was funny because I remember, oh my God, what was his name? Oh, a big one that took hits, and I can't remember if I had him or if others did. We like a lot of us chose Winston for Big Brother
Oh,
preseason,
I
and
think
then
he might
like
have
at
been
this,
mine.
but
Yeah.
then like the first like 30 seconds of the show,
When
they were
he's
like
like
him with his
gun.
guns, and we were all like, who have we chosen? So
Yeah. I
that was a
feel
funny
like
one. I think I might
my
still have him.
my proudest one that didn't do well at all was Malcolm in Game Changers, but I feel like everyone picked Malcolm to do well that season.
I need to go
Um,
through now and check.
yeah.
I'll have to see.
I also have a notes way back when Game Changers before it premiered, I went back and listened to every single player's RHAP appearances and like took down notes. So I have like notes from that. Like that was when I was deep in it, like when I used to be on the RHAP app, just like binge listening to stuff for content, evolution of strategying it up. So yeah, I have some notes. We could go through my notes folder one day.
That's
Um,
impressive.
yeah. But let me explain what the Dragon's Den is, and then we can go back to our Survivor 50 discourse. But the Dragon's Den, these first few episodes are just kind of like pilot episodes, but moving forward, eventually I would like to make this like patron exclusives. For now, these are going to go out to the main feed just to get a sense of like my own rhythm and but it's just like general pop culture catch-ups with my friends, patron exclusives for those of you who are interested in contributing to that via Substack or Patreon on the Brazilian Dragon production side. But it's just pop culture chats with my friends, my homies, and Mel is someone I always love chatting with. We did I think we called it the Murder Media Mystery with
Oh
Mel last
yes.
year for White Lotus and Traders, which was a good time.
What a
Uh,
combo.
yeah, and that was right after Lord Ivar won a Trader season. What a time we lived in, and who knew what we were in store for the next year with Traders. I know you like K-pop as well. Have you listened to Eric Nam's new song When the Fire Started?
What's funny, I feel like I listened to clips of it at the beginning, but never sat through it fully. And I should because
Yeah,
I liked Eric on the show. I thought he was like nice and
I
sweet.
he
And
was
I,
funny too in his confessionals at times.
yeah, I thought he was really engaging and entertaining. I hope we see him more in some sort of capacity here in like a reality TV or some other sort of thing. But this wasn't the season of Traders where like afterwards I was like, oh, I'm going to follow a bunch of people or anything. I think I
Well,
kind of kept it with I probably either already followed them or I think I've slowed down on like the need to follow
yeah.
people afterwards.
Like something still percolates on the periphery of my feed. Like I've seen rumblings of both Mora and Rob for
Yeah, I
DWTS, Dancing
have
with the
too.
Stars.
Can I tell you more I get? Absolutely. I feel like for Rob's brand that it felt very off and I felt like he wouldn't do it.
I
But
don't think he
maybe
should do it, but I mean,
I think he'd do
if he
whatever to
wants
get,
to,
get
yeah.
paid. If his whole intent is like, yeah, I just want to get paid while I can. So then one day I can live on my farm as, Joe Millionaire, go right ahead. But it feels off brand for him considering that like he didn't do Beyond the Villa. That looked terrible. I can't even, and like as a Love Island, like super fan. I still can't even convince myself to watch it, but it sounds like he declined a lot and that Traders was more what he wanted to do. And I think maybe just we haven't gotten also to a point in these like reality show cycles where there are a lot of like good places for strategic people to return and do things. So
Yeah.
maybe he's like in a pickle. I mean, if he does it, good
Well,
on
there's
him,
also
but
like rumblings of a Traders All Stars
yeah,
soon,
for sure.
so
He'll
I
be
feel like
back.
he'll be there. I feel so many conflicted feelings for Traders All Stars because I want them to pick only past traders or only past faithfuls. I don't want
Yeah.
because I feel like there's going to be a lot of metagaming, and it's also like the people that I've heard. Like I don't need to see Ari if Ari's going to quit the first season. Why do we? I'm not a fan of bringing
Yeah.
quitters back, unless it's like you're bringing Hannah Rose to House of Villains. Like that's I can get behind that. But like, don't bring quitters of a franchise. Like Ari rage quit at the end, and I don't think it's fair to give him a spot when he had the opportunity to do something and he chose not to. He took his ball and went home. So I don't respect that. I also think it's like the names of the show that you expect, but like I would rather Trader Second Chances where we could see more Tiffany Mitchell. We could see more of the people like Dorinda had potential, but then she flopped on this season. But like give us some people who like were murdered early on, like your Ians, your Rob C's in past seasons, like a Monet Exchange, a Peppermint, even if you're gonna pick people from the banishments. Like give us chances to find people to have another life in this game. And if they go out early, they go out early. But I would rather see that as opposed to the people who already got to showcase what they can do. Like, yes, they are technically more of the all-stars of your show, but the Traders is such a crapshoot half the time with luck that I would appreciate like I don't know. I like seeing like I would love to see Jeremy have a fair crack at it, right? I don't know.
I'm
Maybe you disagree.
no, I think as a whole, I am a bit over all-star concepts.
That's
Um,
kind of how I feel. I know everyone wants
just you're
another
bringing back
all-star.
anybody, but like to me, first off, it just reads as like lazy casting when they've been like winning Emmys for casting and stuff. And to me, it's just like, well, we need a quick throwaway thing, and we don't have to do that much for it. Like yeah, there's like the meta game like you said around it. I'm just like I don't think we need it yet. Where I would prefer it, and I know they won't do it because then it's like who are these people? I would much prefer for us to figure out how do we do global all-stars? How do we get British celebrity traders, British civilian traders, the Australian traders, the US together and do something that's like massive. And I know there's I'm just thinking of like the English speaking ones. I know there's also like traders India. There's
They're
traders in
developing a
every
traders in
country.
Brazil, I've heard, which I'm
Yeah,
excited
so
about.
it's all over the place. I think it would be really cool if there was something on that level, but I know that like we won't get it due to like what have you, but I would I just don't need to see the same people do things over and over and that's even I'll even say as like a Survivor fan and it's hard because like I'm biased because it is my friend. I didn't need to see on season 50 to an extent so many repeat players, but I also understand why for 50 there might be. But in general, like I do think they kind of go into the same well of like who we can get. Same for Big Brother. So
Yeah.
like,
I kind of agree with you. I'm kind of like I like seeing the reflection and tapestry of America. And even though I'm not the biggest fan of what's happening in the country, clearly, I think reality television has always been at its best when it's a microcosm of what's happening live and in the moment. I think about like why the real world was so potent for so long, why these shows were so groundbreaking when it was a mixture of corporate America backstabbing energy mixed with like real people developing real relationships and like what the money does. And like I'm sure you've seen the Reddit threads, the Blue Sky and Twitter TikToks about like how modern day reality TV casting is very like either want to be influencers or theater kids. And I miss the diversity. And when you're just picking the same people that were famous 20 years ago, like it is exciting. I'm not gonna lie, I shed tears watching Australia versus the World because that was like cinematic. It felt like a Marvel,
yeah.
like the Avengers of Global Survivor. Like 10 years of my life that I spent watching these shows, going back and watching the old seasons that I missed growing up, going and watching South Africa and Australian versions, and seeing the culmination of all these legends from around the world. Like, you got Rob Bentaleb from South Africa, the most dominant winner from that franchise. You got some of the most dominant players from the US in Sari Parvati and Tony, and then Lisa, who is also like a friend of mine and has been on my podcast and is a delight. Like, just seeing them all, that was amazing. But when you rinse and repeat so often, and you put Parvati from Deal or No Deal Island to Australian Survivor to Traders All Stars. Like it gets a little tired, and like I love a lot of these players. Like you could put Suri on any show, and I'd always watch. Same with Sandra. But like if you're gonna start doing more All-Star seasons, I'd like a little bit more inspired casting. Otherwise, I just would rather just take like find new stars. Like I think Felicia was so refreshing on Big Brother a few years ago, and we haven't really seen her do anything. But like Traders is something you could throw her on. Like be a little bit more like find more new stars as well. Like find these cool, fun people that reflect modern day society. And I know people are probably just like scared because you don't want to like invest in new talent that turns out toxic. Everyone's just like, oh, well, we know that Boston Rob is reliable. We know that like Suri is reliable, but like take chances, take swings.
I think ultimately, well, I'd heard the All Stars one was still a year off, that they were doing one more
Okay.
before All
Well,
Stars.
they're
That's
doing
what
the
I'd heard, but I don't
civilian
know.
one, right? So they're doing civilian
Yeah.
first, is what I've heard. But
I thought I heard that this year was also going to be normal, but I don't know. I have
okay.
no like scoop. I That's what I just heard like ages ago, so I have no idea. I would say that in my opinion, where All Stars would work more is yeah, I think like every it's like Taskmaster does like they do like every 5 seasons a one-off episode where all the winners return. Like every 5 years would make sense to me, and you grab from that. But
Yeah.
like to do it as like your
Or,
to
or,
be season five, like it should be like season six is that. I think it's like give 5 years of the show, then do it. I
yeah.
still, and then the thing is that just eventually what All Stars becomes, and this is why like I'm not that invested in
Drag
Drag
Race.
Race All Stars because it was just like, and this is Project Runway All Stars, all of them. It's not necessarily pulling who stars are; they're pulling available people, and it's just about who's around and whatever. And then it
And who
just ends
wants
up
a
being
paycheck?
like, yeah, and who, yeah,
Because
like
like
who's like, I'm not going to spend $150,000 to the show that gets so that's my thing with All Stars is that it's also maybe it's just the branding and the term of it that I'm just like, we always call it All Stars. And then everyone's like, these aren't stars. They're not even people we like. And it's like, well, they call it All Stars, but it's just like a concept that we need to figure out. Like,
yeah.
that's why when we said like Survivor second chances, I liked that more than if you called like, well, I do think the first All Stars was definitely like actually Survivor All Stars. And that's
Same with
why,
Big Brother, yeah.
and maybe that's why Survivor gets away with it a bit more is because they don't call them other than the first All
Yeah.
Stars like largely returnee seasons have some other name to it and it is what it is. So maybe that's why I can
And
tolerate
I
Survivor
mean,
more.
I know we don't think back upon this season fondly, A, given the fact that it was during the pandemic, and then B, also the way it turned out. But I remember how excited I was for the cast of Big Brother 22. That genuinely felt like, okay, these are interesting choices. It spans multiple years of the show. They didn't just go for the people that we thought were going to go. And granted, some of that happened last minute because like Keisha was available when Casey got COVID or whatever. But I remember genuinely like you got Kevin Campbell that like blew my mind. Like they actually because they don't like do so often All Stars on Big Brother, they bring back a handful of people every once in a while. But like this was genuinely like for the most part, besides like a couple nitpicks like David Alexander, like it was a genuine All Star cast. I feel like because I would like you said, if it's like every I think even 5 years is too often. Like, give it 7 years.
Agreed.
7 years, I feel like is a good minimum. But like, saw that they were doing rumblings of Australia versus the world too. I was like, no, don't touch this. Maybe in another 10 years, once you build enough of a new legacy, like you can rinse and repeat. And I get it. Like they like got massive ratings, but like we also it doesn't feel earned. Like I didn't feel like maybe it's because of where Modern Survivor is, or like the weird amalgamation of a cast they brought together for 50. But it doesn't feel like earned. Like Colby's story doesn't feel as earned. And granted, they like gave us a great story for Colby this season, but like Coach's story didn't feel earned because it was just like such a weird like mix of players. Like it's like a weird hybrid. It feels like it's basically New Era All Stars with a couple like random legacy players on each tribe. And I was just like, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. That's the
What's
word.
interesting about 50 right now is I feel that it's acknowledging a lot of the history of the show, and I appreciate that. But one thing it hasn't really touched on at all is like until like they're about to get voted out and they're like, this show changed my life. But like they're not talking about the people that they are now. Like it's
Yeah.
still like, oh, like remember this, remember that, and not like how their lives have changed since being on Survivor or because of Survivor necessarily in the way I'd like to see like
Yeah.
stories develop. And maybe in some extent it's because like we've seen them all so soon, but like, I don't know, people get married, people have kids.
Like we haven't heard
Chrissy had
anything.
cancer.
We did
And
hear
did they,
about that
it was very, but
very
very,
brief and
very
tied to
brief.
her story in the game, not story about her life.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's like just other things happened. And I don't think we're getting like character development because we've already had their characters before. So who cares now? And it's just not the same. There isn't much to connect. And maybe that's what's being sacrificed in this.
Mhm.
You know, because that way we can watch a montage of Coach doing Tai Chi under a rock.
My take for Survivor since the new era has been that the game got so complex and meta, and these people are doing things that production cannot keep up with. Not that they can't follow it, but to like break it down to a casual audience is too complex. So they throw in all these machinations to try to make the easiest for them to create storylines because if there's 5 options instead of 12 options, then they have a more concise way to tell the story and it makes it their job easier. That's why
Yeah.
I felt like we got those mergatories where you had the 6 people as opposed to like 12 people. I don't think it was because I don't know if it's I don't think it's because they care. I think they're just trying to like dumb it down as much as possible and it like stifles the gameplay, but it makes their jobs easier because these people that they're casting are too smart to like and it's too nuanced. Like the show is too nuanced now because relationships are so like intimate and all over the place, and it's hard to follow that many individual relationships, let alone group relationships, let alone a whole tribe. Like you're telling so many different stories at once that I think the twists are just like for storytelling ease for them, and I feel like
Yes.
that's something that a lot of the podcasts don't necessarily like talk about is the production side of things. And we did a whole podcast about the
Yeah, we love
business.
this stuff because that's what I think is that, and this is one of the reasons that I love Big Brother as live feeds. I don't love Big Brother as a show, and that's because you can see, and obviously you need to because they're turning around episodes in 24, 48 hours. But what I feel like with Survivor the last few seasons is like when someone's like, "Oh, we got to do a journey right now." Well, we do because they've it seems like they've storyboarded out a whole season or like how an episode format goes. And it's we have 5 minutes for tribe one, 4 minutes for tribe two, and 1 minute for something funny to happen on this. And then we need to fill a journey for 7 minutes of the show. And it just feels like they're just plopping things in and working towards that. And I also think that we're like super fans of Survivor, but I do think like a casual audience loves twist. They love that kind of stuff because I just don't think that they like the elements of Survivor that those of us like
I think
super fans are like. I think there's just like two different types of a
you and
Survivor super
I
fan.
also watch the show as a combination of like a sports game and also
Yeah.
like as psychological and sociological studies. We're fascinated by human behavior. I mean, you watch all these reality shows, and I try to watch a ton too. But you like literally watch. You watch what's the Korean one that you're obsessed with? Singles
Oh,
Inferno.
Singles Inferno.
But like Housewives, the Bravo shows, the Summer House, all of these things, you're like consuming everything because you're fascinated by like how humans functions, and I think that's a
They're
part of it for me too.
documentaries.
You're
Reality shows are documentaries. And I
exactly.
stand by that. And I said it once on a dating app and then he didn't message me back. And I will tell you, I stand by it.
I
Just
stand by
because you
that take.
watch some Netflix thing that's been edited into a 2 hour movie is no different than an episode of Summer House. It's just a different level of a
It's
documentary.
it's a situational documentary, like where you're putting mechanics in there to like create drama, and these games are part of that. Like Survivor, Big Brother, these are documentaries that have become like when you go back and watch early Survivor and Big Brother, it's a documentary about these people living together,
Yeah.
and the game comes through the people who are the most calculated, trying to win the money, and then it becomes a game and a sport that people get attached to, that they want to be these professional athletes who are reality stars. And also, if you watch like the trajectory of the fandom, Survivor is more mainstream than ever. There's watch parties at bars, and it's like the combination of like the gay subculture that I'm in, and also like the sports bros that I'm in. So it's like these two like marriages, and but it's becoming a sport. People gather around. It's a
Yeah.
community experience, to the extent that like it's so mainstream now. Like this is the most popular Survivor has been since probably like
The
Boston Rob and
beginning.
Amber, where like it's probably maybe Pull Out was like the cutoff of that era. And there's like phases. Like there's a little Russell heroes versus villains bump, and there's always going to be like the ebbs and flows, and we'll probably come down if Survivor continues in the new era format because I don't think it's sustainable in this way. And we're going to be like, I'm probably never going to stop watching Survivor, but I think my
No.
relationship with the show will continuously evolve, where I might like be more casual for 51. I think a lot of people are back for 50 because it's 50, but I don't think it's gonna like. I think it's gonna taper off a little bit, and then maybe there's like some really good season that gets good word of mouth that like everyone. But I also think they keep putting things in the show because there's more activity for the players and there's less liability for the show. Because if there's
Yeah.
consistently doing things, then people are consistently busy and not just like, hanging out around camp and people doing stupid things.
Right.
And I don't know. It's just like Australian Survivor reminds me of the show that I fell in love with. But like even as like someone who dreams about going on the show, I would rather go on Australian Survivor. I don't know if I'm allowed to, but like I want that experience more so than this like summer campy vibe. And I want to like actually play Survivor and like have like I mean if you're going on Survivor like Aubrey said, right? The show get the show you sign up for. I love Rachel Riley. I think she was screwed, but I don't think it's something that we can't embrace because at the same time, that's the show. That's kind of also like life. Fucked up shit happens.
Yeah, it's a lot like Survivor has a lot of luck to it. It always
Yeah.
has. It's just now there's a lot more luck based. And
Yeah.
for a
It's
lot of us, we
random.
don't care for
Yeah.
that. But there are a lot of people who just don't care. I mean,
And I
I
just,
know like we talk about like the Facebook audience, but like Facebook is still like those are people who watch broadcast TV and do this kind of stuff. And they are the people who said, like,
yeah.
I don't like that they get food. They should starve. And there is like, I still never believe
I
the
mean,
votes for It's the Hands of the Fans, but they wrote very leading questions and that there is an audience that, that their favorite
I
player is like Joe because they believe in honor and integrity. And that is
I
their
talk to
choice
my
of a player. But
coworkers regularly, and I feel like I'm very much on the inside of like the casuals because I talk to my
yeah,
coworkers, and like I'm a super fan, and I feel like people don't respect my opinions because I feel like they're like I remember at the end of
like
last
two in the
season,
weeds.
two of my coworkers said that Riz is one of the best players of all time, which I am starting to come around on more and more, but I also don't know if I see. I think he's had like an immense amount of luck, and maybe he'll prove me wrong if he wins season 50. But I thought they were like he's the best player of 49, but I thought like Savannah and Sophie were better players. I think they were a good alliance. I don't know. Maybe it's just because like he wouldn't have won a jury vote, so that's for me something. I think if you can't win a jury vote, you're not as good of a player than someone who can make it to the end. Like I'm always more on the Dr. Will side of things than the Dan side of things because I think Dan could sit in the final two 100 times, win twice, and I think Dr. Will could like make it to the end half of those times, but he would always win a jury vote. And I think like closing the deal is more important than getting there. Um, so that's my take, but I forget what. Oh, and then they hated Christina's question, and I was like, I love Christina's question because that's like something that matters to me. Is like when you're around me, do you take the time to get to know me, or am I doing all the labor in this relationship? Am I doing like everything? And I really valued that. And I know a lot of like the casuals hated that because it's like it should be about the gameplay, and I was like, that's part of the gameplay. Like
But it's
this
funny
is
because they also don't like the strategy side of the show. So it's a
yeah.
very interesting element there of like, I think if there were really like an actual market research study about who are the like fans of the show, I think it would be like very eye-opening and like what we value. But like if we were to just put that online, it's sort of like
I
when
would love to do
like
that. Let's
watching the player popularity votes that, on the
Costa.
accounts I follow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I follow them every week. And it is still though like a subset of the fan community of like who's super invested, who follows these kinds of accounts versus like others. Cause
And
like
some of them
you
are
put that a
breaking
poll on
more
Facebook
casual.
by other places and
Yeah.
it's gonna be very different looking. Like
Because I know
I said to a friend recently who kind of like just got into the show but has been like binging all of them, like really going back to the beginning and stuff. And I made like I was just like, oh, whatever. He posted something about Coach, and I was like, oh, Coach, and he's like, he is my favorite player ever.
you said that or
And
he said that.
he did,
Okay.
yeah, I did. But I also like, I will say this: I don't think Coach is a very good Survivor player, but I think Coach is a very good Survivor character.
I think
And
he's an all-timer.
I do understand Coach being on 50, even though I think it's wild that he literally said before the show publicly that he was going to be on the cast or was cut. Like he posted so publicly about it and they still put him on the show. Like
I mean,
craziness.
yeah,
Just
I
because it's like they have like rules, but whatever.
rules
But like
apply to
I
certain
understand his point there.
people. Like that's something that I continuously come back to. I've been at the gym watching Survivor South Africa Champions, which I hate because they keep taking people's idols. They keep stealing each other's idols, and that's allowed.
Oh,
But like at the
interesting.
end of the day, uh, production's gonna allow whatever production thinks is the best television.
Right.
Like
That's
I
why I like they go
asked,
through bags now because I'm still like I am a person that thinks, and I will throw out there that I think it is an element to sexism with idols. So, in my opinion, I am personally against going through bags. And my reasoning is that as a woman, if I found an idol, it is very difficult for me to carry it on my person without it being noticed, especially because they choose your wardrobe. A lot of times it's like fitted clothes. There isn't somewhere to hide an idol. There is only one place you can put it then, and that is in your bag.
yeah,
So to me, there is an element of sexism of a man can carry it in their pockets and no one's going to know. But if a woman did, even if a woman did put in her pocket, you probably would know because it's a different fit.
yeah.
So I'm anti that, but I understand many people think like
I
anything goes, but that's just my stance on it. But I also think it's funny that we have a whole alliance that says like honor and integrity, but potentially like all pre-gamed before the show, which is like, so which part of that is that honor
yeah.
or integrity?
First off, I really appreciate you bringing the bag discourse in from that framework because I have heard the conversations about like hiding idols and like gender, but I've never heard about like the bag portion. Like, and you bringing that context in is like it's incredibly violating to have someone go through your stuff in those moments because you can't really hide it elsewhere. So it's like unless you like put it in your shoe. I think Kelly Kim hid it in her hair one time.
Yeah,
But
and that's
like
like,
you
but
can't
yeah,
really
that's
do
like
that.
it's so
But like
difficult.
guys put it in their crotch all the time and like it's
Right.
fine. So like yeah, no, I greatly appreciate you bringing that to the table and like something that I will always appreciate Angelina for is because she changed the narrative and she like got idols to be more equitable. And now she's like talking again about gender in the conversation and it feels like she again has to carry these conversations otherwise it's not going to happen and I appreciate the fact that she and Chrissy are having these conversations online. Granted, I do think it's kind of ironic that Chrissy's choosing not to do exit press when I'm like, girl, weren't you
Oh,
complaining
she
about
didn't.
she did
So
Mike
I haven't had a
Bloom and
chance yet.
she did Mike Bloom, she did Sharon Tharp and maybe Dalton, but she didn't do anything else. Which like girl, like if you're complaining about having your voice silenced on the show, why don't you use the opportunity you have to share your narrative? But I can't make her choices for her. She was one of the ones on the cast, like she and Coach both, where I was like, okay, like I'm ambivalent is kind of how I felt. Like I wasn't dying to see another return for either of them, but like show me what you have. Maybe I'll be surprised. And I kind of got exactly what I expected. Like more like I thought. I also I don't like the new narrative that comes back with Coach and Ozzy, where it feels like it's diminishing Sophie's win. Because I felt
Yeah.
like Winners at War did so much work to elevate Sophie and show her as the legend that she is. To now have a lot of this undermining the show, basically saying, "Yeah, no, we were always right. Coach was the one who should have won," and it feels like this like
It's not right.
retconning. And I know someone, I forget where I heard this. It might have been on a podcast or like read it on Twitter or something. But someone said similarly, like the show is going out of their way to like invalidate their female winners with Kenzie. And I love Charlie. Charlie's possibly one of my new era faves. You don't like Charlie?
He's not, again, he's personally not for me.
Usually
That's,
that archetype is so against what I go for. But for whatever reason, like he's cracked through, and maybe it's because I see a lot of myself in him as like a
yeah, and that's a
Boston.
large part of it. I mean, I don't actively, it's not like I hate him. Like, just, I'm just not
You're
like,
like
I
ambivalent.
didn't latch onto him. I think I was fine with him that season, but I think I liked, well, I don't know. I have to like reassess the end, but I really, and again, it was an edit, it was a story, so we were
Yeah,
seeing it the whole time. But I really did like, I enjoyed Kenzie and Tiffany and Q that season a lot.
yeah.
Like Q being on 50 for me makes total sense. He is such a
I want Q
star.
on the
I think
Traders.
Tiffany has potential. I think she's almost like a low key one on this one, I would say, compared to others of like big characters.
Yeah,
But I think that like we've also, and we're beating the dead horse here of 50, which was just like there's new era and they only chose like 3 or 4 seasons and we're missing a lot of new era representation, which is a bummer because I was also that person that initially, and I always knew they would dip further, but I personally, and I think we might have discussed it even on the pod, I always felt like it would be cool if 50 was like their own like new era All Stars and it was like starting over and from scratch. But it makes sense to do like full legends. But I do feel like there could be an interesting point and junction in the show to cut
Yeah.
off old school and like this is the
I
show
just,
going
yeah,
forward.
I wish I feel like a lot of executive decisions in this world are made from an out of touch standpoint where they're not
Yeah.
communicating, they're not in the ground floor, they're not in the trenches talking to the people on the street. Like Jeff used to always say, like the people on the street, right? In the finales. And I feel like executive decisions across the entertainment industry are made from an idealistic standpoint, just trying to make as much money as possible and just trying to like do whatever they want. I feel like there needs to be more recognition for the people who these decisions are affecting, more so than the executives who are pocketing the money that comes from it. And I feel like they should have had like audience consultants, like superfan consultants, bring them in. We can tell them what, like, I feel like 50 could have been a great time where you bring like if there's five main eras, or we can even divide it into six main eras, like pre All Stars, between All Stars and Micronesia, or maybe All Stars, Heroes vs. Villains, then between Heroes, Villains, Cambodia to 40, and then 40 in New Era. Like we can try to have like six-ish people from each of those eras and like do something fun. And if you're gonna go back to 39 days for any season, go back for this season. Like it's worth the investment. Give the people what they want. But no, they're just like, I get you have to like sh cut people fast, but I don't know. It's just it's not the right cast. It's just like whatever. Like these people are all stars in their own way. Like I wouldn't mind seeing any of these people again in any capacity, but like for this amalgamation of people, like Tiffany is definitely an all-star, but I don't think she's a 50 level all-star.
Right.
She's it's like tiered all-stars, and not all stars are the same, but like she's definitely in that Amber, that Sierra spot where it's
Yeah. And I
like, yo,
guess
what the
that's
fuck?
interesting because then you get to see how they play and how they thrive or
Yeah.
not. Like, I'm ultimately, it's kind of like the way that Aubrey even talked about this, which is like you just have to deal with what they gave you,
Yeah.
and that's the season of what it is, and enjoy the aspects you like about it. Because if not, we're gonna drown in our
Exactly.
anger.
Yeah.
Because I forget where. Oh, it was when Sean Clements was on RHP recently. He's like the
I
host of
think I
Hollywood
skipped that
Handbook and
one.
stuff.
Yeah, I might have
So
skipped
I'm
that
a big
one.
Hollywood Handbook fan. And he was talking about it and just like the negativity around this show, despite us all claiming we like the show, is like actually
Exhausting.
we're all really toxic about it. And we have to like embrace like the fun of the show and the things we like. And if you aren't liking it,
Don't
then
watch.
right, like it's hard to not watch it. But
Yeah.
ultimately, I'll say like not that I am toxic against it. I started Drag Race this season. I wasn't connecting, and the episodes started to stack, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm good sitting this one out.
Yeah.
And and it's at first I was like guilty feeling about it. And I'm like, that's healthy. Like if it's not bringing you joy, there is too much TV on right now and too much good TV. So if you don't like it and it's not the show that you once loved, like unfortunately the show is changing, has
Yeah.
changed. They're doing something that's claiming this is working well to them, or they're just let's coast until it goes. So
I
unfortunately, these are the cards that we have with the show. And let's and I know because we've just been ranting about, but like let's have fun
yeah.
and be happy about it. Like, listen, as much as it was like, oh my God, I can't believe we're getting another story about coach or whatever. Like, I don't know, watching this man go into madness, coming up with haikus in his head when he hasn't had any food in his body for 2 weeks is kind of funny and impressive.
Yeah.
And I think like in Hill, who knows what he's saying, and I haven't listened to his exit press yet, but like he basically telegraphed his own exit from the game. Like there's stuff about it to like laugh and enjoy about. I thought this week's episode was so fun to have them pair up, that their linked fates had to do with them making the decision too. It wasn't random. It wasn't that they randomly pulled names out of a hat and someone got screwed. You had the choice of who you
Yeah.
worked with.
Did you
And
watch
then a
the
fun reward, like
yeah.
good stuff.
Did you watch the South African season that they did this twist or no?
I think I did. Is that I've only watched one South Africa season though. Is that the Chappie season?
The first Chappie season, yeah.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I did see. Actually, we did this, and I don't remember how it panned out. We did this at Survivor Lake House,
Okay.
the
Your
one we do.
LRG. Yeah.
Yeah, we did do that. And we
Um
allowed them to pick their partners. I don't remember how it panned out. They did a challenge that they competed together. Um, So your fate had to do with that. But
I yeah,
I don't
I
remember if anybody complained then, but
I also like am very much with you for the most part. Like I feel like all my critiques and commentary are coming up because we're behind a microphone right now. But like
exactly. Like we
generally,
love this show. Like we do talk
yeah,
about stuff we like, and there are like as much as I see people complaining, I also see stuff where people praise it, and we definitely have just spent 20
yeah.
minutes to an extent griping about it too. But like there are things I really like about it. There's just like we see potential. That's
And
all.
it's like the show could be better, but like at the end of the day, it's like like I said in the pre-show, or maybe it was already we were recording, but like I'm always going to be a fan. I might just become more of a casual next season
Yeah.
and watch the episodes and go about my day. But like it's definitely when I know you haven't watched that show in Survivor Redemption, but like when you compare it to like what they're doing over there, and just like the amount of room to play that people have, and like what interesting stuff happens because of a hands-off approach from production, it's definitely interesting to see them both at the same time, especially when you have the better cast in 50 versus the better format in Australian Survivor. It's just like an interesting, like, what do you prefer, the characters or the show, the format, like the
Yeah, that's a
gameplay?
great question, actually. And I
Because
do need to watch this season of Australian Survivor. I'm intrigued. You and I were discussing that ultimately it's that I fell behind. It's difficult to access. And it's so many. And I say this as a Love Island viewer, so I understand a time commitment. Don't get me wrong. It's so many hours of the week. They're just longer. Like Love Island is on, yes, like 6 nights a week, 5 nights a week for normal and one, but whatever. But they're like 45, 50 minutes. But these are like two of them are pushing like 90 minutes and then one's like a fast one at 50. And I'm just like, to have that time to give up when we're also watching Survivor and House of Villains and I watch Bravo and I've got a housewife
and
and plus Survivor show
Pocopia.
at night. I got Pocopia, everybody. Like I'm deep into Pocopia, trying to move along my island while also paying attention to TV. Like
Yeah.
it's a wild time.
Yeah, so thank you for like indulging in the Survivor discourse. I'm sure we can always talk more about it,
We could
but it
talk
was
about Survivor forever, but we have lots of
truly,
other stuff that we
yeah.
enjoy
Before we
other
move
than
out of the
Survivor.
reality section, House of Villains, you watched the finale?
I did.
How do you
House
feel?
of Villains. House of Villains is gonna House of Villains. We probably all saw it coming. Should have
Yeah,
saw it coming.
I will
So I was
say,
like, it's fine. I was kind of distracted when I did get spoiled, and once I knew that, I watched the finale kind of like half in, where I was like on my
you
phone and
spoiled
stuff. I was like,
online from like when the episode aired, where you spoiled a couple weeks ago.
oh, actually, so I watched. I was a week behind, so I watched the penultimate and the finale last night.
Okay,
So I saw them back to back, and while I was watching like the penultimate, I saw a comment from Plain Jane, and I was like, oh. So I didn't know who won, but I knew who got 0 votes. And then
okay.
I was like, okay. And I was like, well, this is classic House of Villains. And basically at that point, when I saw that we're going into spoiler
Yes,
zone, spoiler,
spoilers.
spoiler. When I saw that Kate lost, I was like, just don't let Christine win. I just am like not a Christine fan. Like I
Yeah.
guess I was rooting for Drita, but this is nobody does better on a House Villain show than somebody from the VH1 extended universe at this point.
I this is my first House of Villains because I you cannot pay me money to watch some of the people cast from the first two seasons,
Oh, it's
but
enjoyable though. It's
I
fun.
know
I think this was their
that's what
I think
Emma
this was
said.
their best season though,
And
for
this was their
sure.
best cast for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I, yeah, Emma, Laura both told me the same that I should watch the last two seasons, but I just couldn't stomach some of those people. Like, it's just too hard for me. And again, like, if you're not enjoying, what's the point?
Right.
This season was my first experience, and it was kind of like a background show. I was doing other stuff. I was watching it like on a screen on one side, and then other side doing another thing. But I could see the Drita win coming a mile away. I felt
Yeah.
like Kate should have gotten more votes, but you know, House of Villains, like you said, House of Villains gonna House of Villains. I will say I was kind of like I we took the bumpy road to get to the Drita win because I expected Drita to just be taken, and then she had to win the redemption challenge or whatever it's called to get in, and Paul wasn't gonna lose, and I thought that kind of stuff was it was Drita versus Paul. I was like, oh, okay. But then when Drita won, I was like, okay, just wrap this up. And they even like
Yeah.
fast forwarded to that,
Yeah,
but
it was so quick. Like it literally was like they went in there, made a joke about Christine having a long-winded speech, and then it was like done over the end.
yeah.
I'm happy.
Um,
Like I'm fine with Drita winning. I just was like, as a game player and also like a longtime Below Deck fan and that kind of stuff. Like Would have been
Kate
cool
played the
to
best
see.
game.
Yeah, so it's
And
a
then New York voting for Christine, and so Kate gets like third place instead of second. Also, like kind of like put a sour taste. It's like Kate deserved more votes.
it's so weird because like based on that logic, I don't know. I don't because then New York was like, well, that was like a real villain thing to do to be like to betray your friend, which is funny because technically she did that with Kate. I don't know. But I enjoyed it overall. I was a little like didn't stick the landing, but had a really great flight.
Yeah, valid. And then real quickly, I'm a couple episodes behind, but Housewives of Rhode Island.
Loving it. I was talking to my
Same.
friends today, and they were not loving it. And you would think here as locals, that we would be, that it's law, but I am loving it. I think it's a breath of fresh air on this network. Um, Up until recently, I've felt with a bit of my Bravo show was a little like, like kind of like same old or like not doing well. And then Beverly Hills for a little bit was kind of the only housewife show that was on that I watched, and they were in a lull. Picked up near the end, was my fave, and I was kind of like, I don't know. Are we kind of are we past this concept? Is
Well,
this like a dated concept? But then Rhode Island comes out, and yes, they all look alike. They all are basically it's like septuplets, but I really enjoy it. And maybe it's the proximity to that and like the vague accent or like somebody on the cat like somebody I know went to high school with somebody on the cast, like that kind of stuff. But I just find it very fun and refreshing. And I'll tell you, my favorite one is Alicia, the doll collector who ran a woman over with her car.
wait, I
Wait,
haven't gotten to. Is that episode 3 or 4?
first, I just want to call out to the listener that for some reason, when I said that, you looked so shocked, and your camera also did like a deadpan zoom.
My
It
camera
was like,
does that randomly, like
it
on.
was perfectly timed.
Yeah,
You need to like clip this.
go on the YouTube and
Okay,
watch that. Yeah.
so she brought up no, the
But
hitting a woman with her car came up in like episode 1 or 2.
wait, who was this?
Alicia,
Which one's the lead? Oh, yes, yes.
she's like, and
She's the weed
she likes
lady.
crackers. She likes crack. No, that's
That's Liz.
yes. Liz is
One of them looks alike. They look like twins, and
one
then they
looks
also
like
look like
Dolores. I
Dolores.
think Liz is the one who looks, and I'm getting all their names and stuff mixed up because there's also one that I just genuinely don't know her name.
There's Rula. There's Kelsey, who's the one who has the sugar daddy in Miami.
Okay, no, yep.
There's Ashley from The Bachelor.
We know Ashley I, of course.
Um, Rosie is the news anchor.
Oh, Rosie is the one I forgot. Thank you for filling in her. I think that
There's
if someone's going to be
Joellen,
documented,
who's gonna go on
yeah,
Traders eventually. Like I could see, like she's fast
yeah.
tracked to Traders. Yeah, Alicia's the one. Yeah, she's
She carries crackers in a bag.
yeah. Okay, I like.
Yep.
I
So
think I haven't.
they show her doll collection this week, and I love her even more.
I need to watch that episode. Yeah, I've only seen the
Yeah, you
first
need
two.
that. You need
Uh,
to watch that, and then there's also how they do like that like Bravo after show interview. There's her and
yeah.
Joellen, and she just explains the doll collection on another level, and I love her, and I'm also in a weird spot of life where I realized like these are my peers, like I am housewives age, and
There's
there's
some
always
my
been like
age
some, but
though. There's like a
there
young
are them.
crop. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that it's smart that Bravo's trying to go a bit younger. And I know people will be like, no, they need to be much older. And I was like, technically, like when Atlanta started, Kim Zolciak was allegedly 29 years old and she kept defending it. So we're
Mm.
going with it. I
Well,
think she actually was. But like they've always been younger. You just kind of forget that element. But I think it is smarter for them because I think Bravo as a whole is in a bit of a like, how do we sustain long term? Because like we need to get Gen Z into these shows. They might not be latching onto a housewives concept. Like, how do we get them in?
I'm into Rhode Island, and I don't know if again it's the proximity. It was like also, but I'm surprised you said that like Beverly Hills was the only thing that was keeping you hooked because
No,
I've
not keeping
heard.
me hooked. I was like kind of like, no, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It was like the only one that was like like there's a lot of Bravo on right now.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of the only Housewives one that was on at the time,
Because
like in the
I've
last few
heard.
months until Rhode Island came on. So Beverly Hills for me has been a slog for a very long time.
Oh, okay.
And I've always just kind of like, we're watching it, but it wasn't bringing joy. We hit a point in the season where they all went in on Dorit, and I was fine. Like finally, I was like, oh, we can finally say it because I feel we society put Dorit on a pedestal on these shows because she smoked a cigarette one time on camera, and they're like, oh my god, what an icon, but she's still awful. And the other side of it is, I don't know if you're watching Ladies of London.
No, I've only seen the first couple seasons of the original Miami.
Oh, yes, I forgot we talked, which is on pause, and I'm very depressed because I love
Well,
Miami
our
is my fave,
our
but
mutual Glenn tweeted that Lisa went to jail this week or something.
yes, they had a warrant out for her. I think it's accusations of like recording somebody without their consent.
Yikes. And she
Yeah.
was probably like, if I go to my Miami rankings, I have a notes document of my Housewives rankings. Um, I think Lisa's near the top, if not. Yeah, Lisa's number three. Granted, the last episode I watched was like season three,
Yeah, you
episode
watched the early seasons. I haven't seen the early.
four.
I only saw the late
Last
seasons.
episode watched, season three, episode seven. Number one is Anna. Number two is Havana Elsa. May she rest in peace. And then number three is Lisa.
Yeah, I
Um,
never, if I had the time, I think it'd be
yeah.
interesting to go back to the very beginning. But I also would say I used to love the old ladies of London. The new one is very intriguing and I'm really
Is
enjoying it.
that with Caroline Stanbury?
Caroline St. Mary was on the original one.
Okay.
Then she was on,
Is
they
it
did Real
basically
Housewives
Real
of Dubai.
Housewives of London? Is it basically that's
Yeah, it's
uh,
basically like something of that concept.
yeah.
But what's unique on this one, at least, is they also have a male cast member in the
Oh.
group, and his name's Mark. Oh my God, I'm Mark Francis, and he has like a last name too, but he was on Made in Chelsea, which is one of those like British like The Hills kind of shows.
Well,
So
I know
he's like
you're
long
very
time in
excited about
space.
the Laguna Beach reunion.
Oh,
Um,
I I could not care
and
less.
you
I do love
could
Roku. I love Roku City.
yeah,
I don't
Roku
really
City's
care. I didn't need a Laguna Beach reunion. Like
valid.
though okay, maybe I am like mildly curious, but I always think about I don't care about like Elsie, all the ones that like you hear about. I don't care. Tell me about that girl whose dad had a mega church. Is she in charge? Like that's the one I care more about. Like like the randos, the guy who dated
Th-
Nicole Scherzinger for a long time.
yeah.
Those people.
Yeah, that's funny. I was curious because you didn't mention Salt Lake City, and I feel like everyone I hear talking
Oh, I
about
do
Salt
love
Lake.
Salt Lake City.
Okay,
But Salt Lake City has been off for like a bit. So more like just like in this current period. And I think
yeah,
we've just had like ebbs and flows.
yeah.
And like, for example, before this, there was the last season of Real Housewives of Atlanta. I wasn't vibing with it. Atlanta's always been like my number one. But they just started their new season. They're 2 episodes in. I'm feeling joyous from it again. Like I think we're coming back into a good stage of
Awesome,
Bravo.
awesome.
Summer House is
I wanna. Do you
bonkers.
think I can just like hop into the next episode of Summer House, or do I need to like go and watch? Because my friend Emily said I feel like you should start with season eight at the very least. If you want to go real old school, go to season three if you're not going to do the full series. But I just feel like there's so much good TV. I was like, I mean, we'll talk about the Pit. I'm just like playing catch up with a lot of scripted
Yeah.
stuff. So like, but I do want to get into more reality. Like, because I love the documentarian type of stuff. Like, I
Yeah.
would love like you and me, we should collab. We should go make a documentary and make it like the real world, but like people who have trauma from reality television just talk
Oh my
about like,
God.
and like there's no game format. It's just like people having conversations about their experiences. That's the thing I'm most fascinated about. Like, I want to know what their relationship with like fandom is. I feel like that's like, I think Paul from Big Brother and House of Villains, someone I'm fascinated by, especially because like there's so much in a quick succession. And then if it had happened again, like I was like worried about home person's mental health.
Yeah, for
If
sure.
yeah,
Um, as for Summer House, I think you can probably jump in or you could just watch this season. That said, as
I
a
will be watching
as
the
a as
reunion.
a as a Summer House ride or die, my personal opinion, if someone was like, where should I start? Season one, it's the
Yeah.
history, the
Well, so
tomes, like important things happen in seasons one and two that all of their things, not, I wouldn't say as foretold, but there's a whole thing about spoiler for you, not like too deep, but what happened was at the season two reunion, going into season three. So it was like kind of filmed like in between.
So, for
Uh,
your context,
yeah,
I did. So, when I went to Boston in June and we got dinner with Emma and Laura, a couple days after that, I went to Philly and stayed with my friends Jordy and Emily, and they were binge watching Summer House at that point. So
yeah,
we watched a couple episodes. It was like the COVID season, season six,
even
maybe.
earlier than that. And the
Yeah,
COVID stuff
but
is like
like, so I
fine,
know a
but
little bit of, I know some of
yeah.
the lore just from watching those episodes.
Do you know the lore of that? The whole cast did not like Amanda, and Kyle wrote a 17-page email to the cast to defend Amanda. So
I
like,
didn't know that part. What is he doing? The
yes,
Ross, the two,
it's
like Ross
it
and
is my
Rachel
it's my
breakup letter?
Roman Empire. Like I think about it. And then someone said there, I have the link to it like on Reddit. It's not like the full note, but sort of like a summary that somebody released
Okay,
bits of
where
it.
is it on reality television notes ranking? Obviously, the Jersey
We've
Shore
never
bars.
seen the whole thing. We just have like hearsay of it. Like One of the cast members went through and read it all, but it was, again, it's the 17-page email. But the all it means to me is just like there were early signs of like Amanda was not always with the group. And in fact, like my opinion of what happened with Summer House was Amanda was like America's good girl. She was not part of the original cast. She was a girl Kyle was hooking up with. Fans latched on to this sweet, sweet girl. And so I believe they began to shape the show around Amanda and therefore brought in friends for Amanda with like Paige and Hannah and were meant to like build up Amanda as like this. But Amanda is, not counting recency, is like a really boring TV character and doesn't bring much. And in fact, this is the most that she has ever done in like 10 seasons of the show. She's a
Yeah.
very, like, seems like a nice person. She's very normal. And I think that's what people latched on to. Like, oh, she's so normal. She dresses so cool.
But
One could argue.
isn't Sierra also very normal?
Yes, Sierra's very normal.
Yeah.
She comes later and she's also introduced in
She's
this. So, like,
in the COVID season because the storyline
yeah,
that I remember was like Amanda and Hannah were fighting because Hannah didn't like the way Kyle spoke to her, and
yeah.
then they like break a glass at some point. Kyle and Amanda are fighting. That's also where is it Stavros? That's some guy that Lindsay I think is hooking up with. That's there.
Oh, yeah.
And
She
then
was dating
Carl goes home because his brother
Stravy.
dies.
Stravy.
Carl goes home because his brother died or was in rehab or something.
Yeah.
Um, but like I know there's also like a whole Carl Lindsay lore.
Yeah. Like it's, and that's the thing is, we've, from us OGs, like we've lived it all life with them, and to see this all
It's been 10
culminated,
years, right?
yeah, it's we've been, I've been there. I'm a day one. I'm a Lindsay Hubbard super fan. I'm a stan.
When's she
I see
going
her
on
rights and
Traders?
wrongs. Well, she was supposed to
For
do
season
Traders,
two,
and then
right?
yeah, and
And
then
she
like
got
a lot.
replaced by Trishelle? Is that
No,
the
she got
story?
replaced by Dorinda. The or no, no, or no, she got
Dorinda.
replaced by Sierra. Sorry. The
Oh, okay.
rumor was that Dorinda told producers that
That Lin
Lindsay was pregnant, and then Lindsay was dropped from the show.
This is why
That's like
I've
that's
never
what the
liked Dorinda.
well, neither have I, and that's why I didn't understand, like, of all people to bring back for a second time. Like, I did it didn't click for me. Um, she's just like as a reality star kind of thing. It
Team Ron
doesn't work for me.
Funches.
But
Team Ron
yeah,
Funches. I need to watch the new season of Loot. That reminds me. Speaking of Loot, should we get into some of our scripted convo? Because
yes,
I know we have a lot to talk about, and we also
so
want to.
much.
And
And
also, I
unfortunately, I
meant to.
never use Apple TV, so I
You're
will.
good.
I don't have. I'm locked out with the password, so
I'm
I never
sorry.
see anything.
As we transition to scripted, I know you had a very exciting week last week with Artemis, too. Did you enjoy the saga of space?
I did. So to give back lore of it too, which is I was like asking people, hey, can I see Project Hail Mary without reading the book? I had a mutual of ours, Courtney. I said, Courtney, she was going to the movie. She was so excited. I said, when you get out, you text me and tell me, do I need to read the book or can I go without it? And then she texted me and said, you have to read the book. It's missing so much stuff. You're not going to understand. So then I binged that audiobook. Like I put any physical book, any Kindle not touched for the week, just churning through it. So I listened to the full audiobook, which was really delightful and I enjoyed it. A lot of science though, which makes sense. It is science fiction, but sometimes I don't need the science in science fiction.
Sometimes you're more it's you're not as
Yeah.
there for the you're
I'm
for
not
the
there for the
plot.
science. Yeah. I'm here for the fun stuff. But then I did finally go see the movie because I wanted to be able to see it in
Yeah.
theaters because it did seem like a theater run. I'm not doing an IMAX. I'm not doing a 3D. I get very motion sickness, like
So you're not
related
gonna
things.
do Avengers Doomsday and Infinity Vision?
No,
No.
like the only time I've decided I would make an exception, but I know it would be something that I completely regret. I would do like, what's it called? You guys have it in LA. We don't really have it out here. What's the thing where it's like the 4D movie where it's,
40X.
yeah, like where
Yeah.
you're, I would do that
I
in like a
heard
Fast and
Twisters was
Furious
like a
movie.
roller coaster. I
Yeah,
didn't
like
do
I would do something
Twisters.
unhinged like that maybe, but I would severely regret it.
Would you go to the Sphere for the Wizard of Oz?
Not Wizard of Oz. I need something else. Like
Yeah.
I think it's a fine movie, but like that's not gonna yuck my yum. That's a negative thing.
Well, so yes, a couple days ago when I went to see the Lauren documentary, they had something at the AMC, like the AMC I go to regularly, and it was like this, what's the thing you make? Diorama.
Yeah.
It was a diorama of this future AMC theater that they're building, and the one that I go to, which apparently is the biggest one in the country, or
Hmm.
like the most popular one in the country, beating the New York one. But It's gonna be like, have you ever been to Universal Hollywood?
Yeah,
It's like the Shrek Kung Fu Panda thing where there's screens on three walls.
I don't need it.
I don't need it either,
It's
but
not for for context. There's even just like scenes in Project Hail Mary where they like change the camera angle, like where you can't whatever. Like my stomach gets queasy from that, so
yeah.
like I can't like
I
I
mean,
it
we know
gives me like massive like a vertigo.
your famous story where you were saved in Rizzo's restaurant. Like
Yes,
you found solace in
Gonzalez and
Rizzo.
Pizza Rizzo, rest in peace. So I didn't see it in that kind of thing, but I did see it in the theater. And I really enjoyed it. I'm giving it a 4.5. And my main gripe simply was that the character of Arena, like in the book, and maybe it's just the way the audiobook guy delivered it and stuff. I just think she had like a little bit more like wit and personality and like a dry sense of humor and whatever. And I just think in the movie they made her like, "Mwah."
Yeah. I for me
But like you had
like
to cut it. But
I I am a proponent of concise is better than spectacle.
yeah,
There's one exception to that. It's Avatar: The Way of Water.
still
Um,
haven't seen it.
though you would love the whales. You would
Wait, no.
love.
Oh, I'm confusing. I have seen Way of Water.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
thinking of
the new one, Fire
Fire
and
and Ice
Ash.
or whatever.
Yeah. But Payakan forever. We love Payakan. But the only exception to that rule is Avatar: The Way of Water. Everything else, the shorter is better. Like I'm tired of these white film bros going on and on and on with their movies.
Yeah, they
You
did a
need to
great job
cut.
with this.
They cut it, but I still think it could have been shorter.
Really, I felt like it was, I'll say, because I am a person that I will notice the length of things and be annoyed. I went to the Beauty and the Beast musical last night, and I can tell you, I was at a point where I'm like, oh my God, this is so long. And it's because the movie, and I think maybe just like the movie, so like what songs they hit, how fast paced it is.
Yeah.
They
Disney
like,
movies are great at being like tight.
yeah, well, Disney musicals are not because they add these songs. You're just like, ugh,
Yeah.
like why do I have to sit through this? But I felt like in Project Hail Mary that it was because it was what 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I did not feel that sense of time at all. Versus I did see, and maybe it's because I had to go to the bathroom. I did see You, Me, and Tuscany as well, which was an hour 45, and
You
there
felt
was a
it.
point where I just a little where I was like I thought I knew like timing wise of stuff. I really was like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick
Yeah.
because you know me, I sneak a coffee into the movies.
Oh,
Like a full set because I go
I
I
do
like to go
that.
to a morning movie. I like to bring a
Yeah.
coffee.
I support. I love a
Yeah,
matinee. Um, I see for me, I think maybe it's because I grew up with these like Disney Renaissance classics where like every single shot, every single scene matters.
yeah.
Whereas I feel like you could have cut some from Project Hail Mary, and I
There's
feel
a
like
couple
you
things
still
I'd
get,
cut.
and that's the thing. It's just like I don't like feeling like things are happening for gratuitous sake, and I feel like Christopher Nolan loves to like have six endings to his movies because he likes like going on and on and on and just like showing off. And maybe it's just like my contrarian nature, but I'm very much like the tighter. Like you don't, if you're a director who's willing to cut a scene because it doesn't strengthen your movie, it just like makes your audience feel like kind of ambivalent. I just don't like feeling like things are wasted.
There's something
Um,
that feels like test screening to me though of like the rocky ship of it all that it's like well people are going to want to see what is what's this alien ship look like,
Yeah. Oh, that was not one
like
of the
that's
stuff.
where
It
you
was
could
like
cut.
it was more so
Same
like
thing that
of
the karaoke one.
the montagey type stuff, like the things like the process. Like I thought it was interesting and like, but like if you like just shave pieces off that, maybe I'm a hater.
I think you might be a mild hater here
I
because I
haven't.
do think that because I'll as did you read the book?
No. I'm
So there is a lot there is a lot of process and like very
valid.
deeply and I felt like they cut it down and narrowed it down so well to not have to like drag it out and bore you to death where like a lot of stuff happens like and there's stuff missing even that's like other things
Yeah.
they do to like try to protect earth that they don't get into where you're kind of like a little bum but I did think that montage wise it helped a bit though I am like why the prominent feature of Skittles but
Yeah. I'm I still give it a four. Like I had a great time. I think
yeah
for me, like if the movie is pretty well paced, I can like forgive the length a little bit. Like I still get like this got a four for me. For me, like pacing is the number one thing that I come away from is like if I feel the length, then I come like I love the Batman, the Robert Pattinson one. Granted, the first 30 minutes were a little bit of a slow drag, but then once it got into like the mystery and the noir, I really like picked up and like really fell in love with that movie. That's like my favorite movie of that year, I think. But I don't mind a long movie, but it has to be really well delivered and paced for me. Um, but like I think I'm more drawn to like a shorter film. I mean, we can talk
Yeah,
about
let's
this
talk about You, Me, and Tuscany, which I thought
and the
was
drama also. That's
yeah.
another like
I'll say the
145.
drama to me felt longer
Okay,
than if you ask me which movie
felt the
felt.
longest.
I would say the drama felt the longest of the three.
But is that
I
not
feel
the
like it felt longer
intention?
than I
I
don't
feel like
know. It felt
it's
longer than Project Hail Mary, and that's like for me, where you felt the pacing was long, I felt like it kept going, and I really did not notice like how long I'd been in the
valid.
theater, which
But I also
is
feel like
good.
this is more of your type of film. Like you love a spectacle and a sci-fi, right? Like you
Yeah, and
love
I love
aliens, right?
I do love this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think
Um,
maybe like we're also on a real high because we just had we went to the moon,
yeah.
saw the mysterious as the dark side
Listen,
of the
I
moon.
love Rocky. And
Dark.
hey, my mom's not a sci-fi girly, but she, for her birthday, she and my dad went to see this on her birthday. And I was like trying to get her to do the drama because, like, Boston movie, Zendaya, like,
That's
she,
you really were trying to bait and switch your mom into a real weird that is
or
for
the
like I'm
Mario
not going to
movie.
spoil it, but what a weird because I will tell you when I went to the drama, did not I don't even remember really the trailer. So I was like I knew the marketing was kind of like this weird like
I knew there was a plot twist.
there was something yeah, and I figured I was like it's A24, it's got to be something. Never would I have guessed that. And I feel like nobody in the theater because when I went, it was clearly like date night for everybody. And the trailers before were such a weird mishmash of like
Did you get
really
the back
dark
rooms?
they had like really weird dark like they had like the mummy and then it would be like you me and Tuscany and I'm
And
like
then
wait what is this movie going to be because I was thinking it would be really funny if this is a very awkward movie for all these couples in the theater while I'm here solo just to spread misery not realizing like what we were getting into so at least we had that for it. I mean, I enjoyed is a weird term for it. When people are like, "Did you like it?" and I'm like, I don't like know how to describe the drama and say like liked it. Like it's not a movie that you like. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
I I gave it
It was
four and a
like you're like you
half.
mean trust me. You're like yeah,
Yeah.
I liked it,
Oh,
but
you
like
and Tuscany. Yeah.
it's hard to say like you liked the drama because it's like
I
what
was compelled
the
and
heck?
riveted by the drama, but I don't know
Yes,
if I liked
exactly.
it. Like, I don't know. I think of it might be my favorite movie of the year, but like favorite is also a weird
Yeah, exactly. It's like calling it
phrase. Yeah.
it's a bizarre topic to have as like with like positive lauding when it's because it's such a weird
Yeah.
dark topic and I don't know how like if we want to keep
We
it
should
open
let's go.
ended because like
We can go to spoilers at this point,
yeah
but before we do that, can I tell you my first gripe with the drama? And it's not because of the movie. I think I
is
might
it
have
that
told
they
you
ate
this.
at Tate the worst I, have you been to a Tate?
I have been
Do
to
they have
Tate, but
Tates out there?
no, it's a Boston thing. I
So
have
and
been
they were
to
also like in
Tate,
DC
the one in
like
the one Boylston. I think
yeah
I've been to that one.
so I know that Tate is a Tate that I could say near and dear to my heart but it's not dear it's near to my heart because I physically am near it I I understand why they film there. It's a beautiful place. Tate
That's the
is
first scene, right?
yes, Tate is millennial Abompan, and I will not like it is just gentrified Abompan. It started as a wonderful like a couple locations, good like kind of like I don't know what the background is. You could get really good shakshuka and treats and stuff, but then it became a little whatever. It was acquired by the Panera Company. It's not that good. It's so overpriced. I've literally other anytime I've gotten any sort of a salad, a meal outside of a drink. I've never got my order correct. It's so like I just can't. But a great location to film in. And in fact, today I went into the city. I went to the Malibu Barbie
How
Cafe.
was it?
Good. It's an experience. It's not gonna be like a meal that changes your life, but it was a goodish meal, especially like I've been eating like kind of healthier, cleaner. So to have like I had a Beyond Burger. I got me a Diet Coke. I asked them to spritz the glitter in it. That was in my friend's cocktail. And I was like, can I have glitter? Because I just really wanted a Diet Coke. It was like fun. It was cute, good photos. But can I give a gripe for it?
Yeah.
It's only been open for 2 days here. I think it was had like influencer night. Then it opened, I think, yesterday. So we're pretty early in the process. They had no t-shirts in medium or large.
Sold out or didn't have enough in stock?
Like I don't know. They're just like, oh, for the the actually good looking t-shirt, we don't have this size. And I was like, you know what? Restraint. I don't need a t-shirt. I probably didn't need it anyways. I just liked it,
Yeah.
just enough.
But
But I
like,
did then go to
damn,
Margaritaville, and bought a pin.
as you should. Well,
Yeah.
my gripe with the drama isn't anything about the filming. It did film at my high school. Shout out to the
Oh, I
Addison.
forgot. I was gonna say I walked by the scene where he sees the woman in the wheelchair. That's the cousin
Yeah. Oh,
of the
that
friend. Oh, so I
in the
was gonna take a
seaport.
picture there to be like, hey, this is where he saw whatever's cousin. That one's like right by like South Station because I
Okay.
walked
Yeah. Yeah.
after we walked around like afterwards
Yeah,
and
I
I walked to
recognize.
South Station because I was like, I'm gonna use the bathroom before I go to the train. I'll go to South Station. I was like, oh, remember where they filmed? This is where they filmed the drama. So
I
actually,
love.
perfect time
I
to bring it
love.
up.
I love a good Boston movie. I mean, the last movie I remember seeing that
Yeah.
was a Boston movie. It ends with us. Um, but no, my gripe with the drama isn't about the drama. It's about modern moviegoers. Tell me why on a Friday night I'm there. It's said it's season day. My girly pop. Robert Pattinson, one of my favorite actors these days. I think he deserved an Oscar nomination for Mickey 17, and I will die on that hill. I am so ready to sit there. Crisscross applesauce. First 10 minutes, this guy's consistently on his phone, taking pictures of the screen, Instagramming, purple font, trying to figure out what he's going to caption. And I'm not that kind of guy who's like, put your phone away. But I was that kind of guy that night. I was like, put your phone away because he was irritating me. Because I don't like disrespecting the other people around me. But if you're going to be
Mhm.
disrespecting, because I was like, do these other people not understand? I can feel myself getting agitated. Every 2 or 3 minutes, he pulls it out. At some point, he starts going on Grinder. He's on the grid. He's texting this guy. 2 minutes later, pulling his phone back. And it's like, if you have other priorities, get the hell out of this
Yeah, why
theater.
are you here? That happened for me at Project Hail Mary too, for the guy in front of me. He at least had the decency to dim his screen so it wasn't as bright, but I could see it. And at one point, I almost moved my seat over just one because I was like, maybe I won't see it. But he also was like, it was one of those like reclining seat theaters. And he
Yeah.
was like, he went like like we all angle ourselves full recline. So it's like, no matter what, I'm going to see this. But I'm like, if you can't just turn your phone off for a bit to be here and be present in the moment, follow what the AMC screen instructions tell you right
Don't
before that
ruin the
couple
movie.
dances. Yeah, the couple's going to dance for Coca-Cola, and then they're going to tell you to turn off, like be respectful. And that
Or
happened to me
sit in the
also.
back. If you're going to be on your phone, sit in the back. Don't
The
sit in
very
row
yeah
C where you're in the middle of the theater. And it ruined my experience. I left 40
yeah.
minutes in. I
The guy
left.
next to me did during the Beauty and the Beast musical. He eventually stopped, but he wasn't checking his phone. He had like his phone though on his lap. So like
Yeah.
every time he was getting a text, it would light up and was like, I almost did do it because I didn't want to, but I was like, usually the ushers, I miss that. When you go to like live theater, the ushers used to come by and tell people like, put your phone away, stop. But they seem to have stopped doing that, which is now my new pet peeve. And I need to remember to take the survey now that I remember so I can give that feedback because
Yeah.
they're just like,
Well,
we got to put our phones away. And I'm very guilty of this. And in fact, you and I both have binged The Pit in the last week because I realized when I watched The Pit early on, I was on my phone a lot
yeah.
and I retained it, but I didn't. I did a phones away Pit watch.
I will put timers on sometimes because I'm like, no, I need to put my phone down. And I understand that like when I'm at home, it's a lot harder. But
Yeah.
when I'm at the movie theater, like the only
It's
thing I'll
one
pull my
time.
phone out is to check the time. And I try to like pace it like every 20 to 30 minutes.
No,
Like,
I
am I
leave
sure?
that bad boy. I turn it off, phone away.
It's usually on airplane mode though.
Yeah, after, oh, for me, I go full off. I'm
Yeah.
like, you, me, and Tuscany. I even didn't even remember to put my phone on after the movie. I realized it when I got home and I went to take my phone out and I was like, oh, I didn't even turn it back on. How healthy is that?
Very, very.
Actually, no, must have been Project Hail Mary because after you, me, and Tuscany, I blared that Janet Jackson song from the trailer on the way back.
Oh, see, for me it was Let Me Love You. I sent
The
you the
music, the music was a little uneven, but now heard yesterday that the You, Me, and Tuscany was written actually by like a white dude. So I feel like some of the stuff that's like a little disjointed now makes a little more sense.
Yeah, that's possible. Was the character intended to be black originally, or no? It was all
I
just
haven't heard
like,
that. I'm not sure. Just
yeah,
so who knows? But I
yeah.
also appreciate the fact then that like somebody did feel like, yeah, this character can be like any race.
Yeah.
So like let's put a good one in because I think like
Well,
Halle
that's
Bailey is adorable. She like
I want the
so
best for her.
positive. She's so sweet. She just like radiates. I love Reggae John. I mean, we all love the Duke, but he seems to be making some like very like interesting choices. And I mean like all over the board in a positive way. Cause like he also did like the Dungeons and Dragons movie and stuff. Like
He
he's
was like the
so
third lead of that movie. He was in two scenes, I swear,
I
of
haven't even, you know
Dungeons and
what? I haven't
Dragons.
seen it. I should,
I
but
think you
I
would
appreciate
love
him
Dungeons and
trying.
Dragons. I
Oh,
think
I
that
know I would.
you
I'm
would.
surprised I I'm
one of
surprised my
the
friends didn't do a
best
group trip.
cameos uh
Interesting.
for an actor. I won't say which actor or actress it was, but
It's not Vin Diesel, is it? Because he is like a
no,
big
you would
Dungeons and Dragons
cry.
fan, though. Because
You
he's a D&D dude,
I did
right?
not know that. No. Yeah, I don't
Yes.
know who loves Vin Diesel more, you or Nickel Byer.
That's tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what, though? The hard part about being a Vin Diesel fan is also knowing that there's that complete side of darkness to him that like has been out alleged.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to think. If I may give a prop to a book, have you, and if not to the listeners at home, there is a nonfiction book that came out earlier this year or late last year called Welcome to the Family. And it's a book about the making of the Fast and Furious franchise and all this stuff. And it's a really interesting read. I'd enjoyed it a lot.
Can I tell you a secret?
You
I've
haven't seen
never
it?
seen a single Fast and the Furious. I do want to watch the fifth one because they go to Brazil. This is Brazil. I've seen that
I'm
scene.
shocked because also five is my absolute favorite.
Okay.
Part of me feels like we should watch and pod them and
Okay.
react because
Absolutely.
I'm
Dragon's Den
kidding. Because
special.
yeah, it needs to be though. I feel like you have to do each one, or
Yeah.
like one by one. Because I think if you put them all into one, you'd be like like if it was just one long podcast, we'd be talking for like 7 hours.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I'm down to do that.
they're like my guilt. They're my guilty pleasure. I know that they're
F
like
is for
garbage
family.
and
Yeah.
F is for family.
Yeah.
But
But
it's a really interesting read. And especially from like a production angle, it's very interesting. And just like the nuttiness of Vin Diesel. If anybody from the cast was interviewed, it was probably like anonymously. It's more like other people contributing. But I think, you and I, when we geek out over like how film works and stuff, like how much of a mess it is really to make movies and that like stuff isn't done. You're just doing whatever, like
mhm.
rewriting it till the very end. It was cool. And I learned a lot of stuff about movie making in general.
I recently learned a lot about the Disney Channel by doing another book called Disney High. It's like an unauthorized like Disney Channel story book about like the history, and so like I appreciate those, like again,
Yeah.
documentaries. These like oral histories are really really fascinating. I feel like we've probably said everything we need to say about Project Hail Mary, other than like we love Rocky also.
Yeah,
Love Rocky.
Rocky. I mean, the fact that he's a puppet is like a huge plus
I
because that
love
was
that.
the whole movie. I was like, if he's CGI, I'm gonna be livid.
It's family friendly, PG-13 fun, and
Yeah,
that's
I think that's
also for
nice.
that's I like that. Like it's not rated R. Like you could take the whole family to this,
Yeah, my
um,
friends brought like
and it just
their
got extended.
tween kids and stuff.
Is
Oh, like an
it?
extended cut?
Yeah, no, it's been extended for the theater release.
Oh, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
the
So it means
friends
I
that you're
could have
talking
taken
about, is
longer
it
to read the book.
Courtney?
Yes.
Yes, yeah. Well, because
Courtney has a child who is really into the book and was very excited to go see
oh,
the
okay.
movie.
Well, because I know I saw on Facebook or Instagram stories that she went last night to the Mario movie. I assumed, but maybe it was Project
Oh
Hail
boy.
Mary.
I've not seen the Mario movie. You've seen it. Is it as bad as I've heard?
There's no plot. It's razor thin. It's all a bunch of like jokes and Easter eggs, which like the first movie had, but like the first movie also had a plot. Whereas
I
like this
actually
one,
don't even remember the plot, but I don't remember if I sent this to you or not. I remember having like a deep thought, wink, and I was like thinking of Chris Pratt doing the voice to be like in a recording booth, being
I
like,
felt like they
"It's a
toned him
me,
down.
Mario. It's a me, Mario. Give me another take." And I kept like imagining the process of an actor being in the studio.
I wish they recast
Who
him.
cares?
Like
I just don't think he's still the right fit
he's never
for
been the right fit.
it.
I think Charlie Day's doing great as Luigi though. I'll give him that. But I mean, I don't know if it was intentional. It has to be intentional. Mario had a lot less lines in this one. This
He
was
probably like, I wonder how he gets paid, like if there's anything pay wise to get him down or if they just didn't care.
yeah. This was
I just didn't have
definitely
any
like
interest. That's
other
like that's a
characters.
video at home. That's not I'm not
Yeah.
wasting one of my
Oh,
movie passes
it's
on that.
oh yeah,
I
because you don't
thought
have
about
A
it.
list, right? So
No,
yeah,
well, because I have like a discount movie ticket thing, so it kind of just
yeah,
works out. And then especially because, we just had like a real high week of movies. I feel
yeah.
like we're in a lull right
Oh
now.
yeah, no, I went to the Lorne and I had to be dragged to do that, and I didn't really want
Is
to go.
I
It's
was considering going
wait
to
for streaming.
the Mummy, but then I was told that that has bad reviews, so I don't think
I
that's
haven't
going to
seen
be
it.
worth it. I
I
saw
feel
the
like
trailer enough that I thought it looked creepy, but then I was also like, oh, the
Devil
trailer
Wears
gave away a
Prada
lot.
2, I think, is the next. And no, there's
But
Michael
that's a
next week.
while,
I'm
right?
going to a birthday next week for Michael. But yeah, and then Devil
What's
Wears Prada,
Michael?
Michael
Like the
Jackson.
angel? I used to be Michael Jackson. It's again,
Complicated.
it's a complicated relationship with somebody who had really great music.
Yeah. But my friend, I'm counting it as his birthday party because he
Yeah,
was out of town during his birthday and he got me the ticket on AMC Entourage. So I'm like, sure, I'll show
yeah, why
up.
not?
So I'll go.
It could be really good.
Yeah.
I forgot the family was all at
I
that premiere and stuff.
Yeah, and then Yumi and Tuscany. Just wanted to share the letterbox review that I saw. Yumi and the Coochie. I want to say,
Oh,
let
yes.
me love you and the Coochie, and I'm like, yes, I love that. That made my night. That was a fun movie to see in the crowd. Like my theater was activated. I don't know about yours.
Mine wasn't, but I went I think it was a 10:30 a.m. showing, which means probably like an
Valid.
11 a.m. start time given trailers. So it was, a little low key, but we were enjoying it.
Yeah.
It is the perfect movie I felt to bring a coffee into in the morning.
Yeah.
And I did finally find a perfect non-spill cup for the future, so I don't have to now walk in like really uneasy that I'm
Oh,
going to
just
spill
bring a
iced
water
coffee
bottle.
everywhere.
Like put it in a water bottle, like one of those
Yeah, but
metallic ones,
this is a hot coffee, not
or
an
like
iced
one of those
coffee.
mugs, like one of those like
Well, that's like
Stanleys.
I got like a nice new travel mug that was like
Nice.
truly like non-spill, and
Yeah,
I'm
because they
I'm
can bring
really excited
whatever
about
you
this.
want in those. Like they don't care.
Oh
Like
yeah,
yeah,
but I just, a
yeah.
nice coffee in the
Uh,
morning at the movie theater.
yeah, exactly. Anything you wanted to say about the drama? We'll do full spoilers and then we can hop over to the pit.
I don't have that much more to say about it.
Yeah.
Like it was, you know,
Who was your least favorite character? Was it
oh,
Rachel? Alana
I
Haim?
guess yeah, it had probably was.
Yeah. Well, there's been a lot of interesting discourse about like how she's like the real villain and like a lot of people giving empathy to Emma. And I'm like, partially as like, is it because it's Zendaya? Is it because like of the things that
Yeah.
happened? Is it because of like, I asked my therapist. Now, my therapist is getting married next week, so she's not seeing the drama because she has a
A
lot on her
wise choice.
plate. But then also, I told her, don't watch this movie until after your wedding.
Yeah.
But also, I also do want to talk to her about it though, because like not to the extent of like the Emma intrusive thoughts, but I was also like, oh, I feel like this is an interesting conversation to have about OCD. I don't think Emma has OCD, but as someone who does have OCD and has intrusive thoughts,
Yeah.
I would like to have conversations with my therapist about like the topic and like because she goes to the
Right.
movies, she has A-list, so it's like we talk about pop culture sometimes and like talk about my mental health and like things that I see in these stories, and then I also like found like Robert Pattinson's characters like reactions like I saw myself in those with
Yeah, I think it
like
was
when
like an
you find
interesting thing to put yourself into, and I think that's what you probably like a lot of us
yeah
did while watching is that you're in it, but then you're also like, yeah, what would be my reaction if I found that out?
because
And
then
like,
there's a play that I've never
interesting.
watched but I've heard it's like a play about a group of friends that like find out one of their friends was a sexual assaulter and like how the friend group reacts, and I've been curious about the play. I forget what it's called, but like it's
Yeah.
kind of like the same vein, like your friend does something despicable or you like find out information, like how do you react? And like I've always been curious about that, especially like in the context of reality television shows. Like we see this in like group group mentality, and like seeing how people navigate that is fascinating to me, but then it's also like how would I react? But I thought
Right.
his name Mamadou Athie, I think is his name. The guy, he's
Yeah.
fantastic. He was the voice
He's
of
great.
did you see Elemental? He's the voice of Wade Ripple, I'm pretty sure.
No, I have to check that out. But funny enough, there was a guy around, I want to say he's probably like in my office at work, and he looks like him, just like a little. And I genuinely was like, well, they filmed that movie in Boston. Could that be? And I know it's not, but he looks so much like him that it threw me off. But yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely thought, I was like, he works in my office. He does.
Yeah, he was the voice of Wade Ripple. Um yeah, no,
I
I
thought it was great acting. The Bostonian me was, looking to identify places and succeeding and or failing. But like enjoyed the movie for what the word enjoyment means for it. I was captivated by the movie. I guess maybe that's a good word for it.
yeah, I definitely am curious to see more discourse on this, but
I saw a great review on Letterboxd, but they're like a lot of couples are going to learn some. Can we swear?
oh, yeah.
It was like a lot of couples learned some fucked up shit tonight, and I am curious, like the level of
I
what came.
wonder how many
Because I
people
asked
went
somebody,
after and played.
I asked a friend. I saw that he went to the movie, and I was like, "Did you play the game afterwards?" Yeah, he's like, "It wasn't that for us. It wasn't that interesting, but I'm sure for other people it could be. But I'm sure couples like did, and I guess in one way, it's like, is that a question you do ask? Like, I don't like, but then you don't know what you're going to get, and I think that was what was interesting about
Uh,
all of this. I think it's one of the things like you can. I think it's a movie that's a thinker, and it brings up
yeah.
a lot of conversation, discussion about things and a lot of different ideas. So for that,
Yeah.
it was interesting, intriguing. I don't know.
Speaking of interesting and intriguing and thinkers, want to talk about the pit?
Oh, the pit.
Can
Baby
I
Jane
drop
Doe,
kick
Baby Jane Doe.
Robbie? Dr. Robbie needs to be drop kicked. That
Oh my
man
God. Yeah,
pissed
but
me the fuck off.
We're going into spoiler
Yeah.
territory
So I
immediately for the
crushed the
Pit because
Pit.
like
I was up
because
until
we can't
3
talk
a.m.
about it
watching
without
it
it
last
because it's
night.
past it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, anyways, what do you want to say?
I didn't even realize. So I was talking to a friend about it and she's like, oh yeah, we're like, I forget what she was telling me where she was on the show. But then that night I came home and I didn't realize that this week was the season finale. So
It
I felt
was,
very
yeah.
justified. Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, I think there's a couple of what I do love about this season before we get into, any sort of Dr. Robbie rants, is I love that we got more of the night shift.
Yeah.
I
I
really
mean,
liked that transition of day to night and being able to see another group of doctors. I really wish the show had like the level of audacity to fully go night shift and just show those people too, because I think it could be interesting. But I understand, how TV
so
works. So
do
you
you know
want your
anything
core
about
group.
season 3 yet or no?
No, have they talked about it?
Do you care if I break news? It's nothing like spoilery
No,
other
no,
than
no.
just like
Like,
casting
no, because
announcements.
yeah,
But
I do
the
know
woman who
one
plays
doctor who's gone.
who's leaving. Okay,
Yeah,
one
yeah.
who's getting promoted to main is
Yes,
Dr. Ellis, I think.
yes.
So I heard a discussion on another podcast about like maybe they start a few hours earlier for the next season instead of 7 to 9. They do a like 4 a.m. to like however long, because if they're going to continue doing 15 episodes, I don't want us to like be expecting like some massive trauma every
Yeah,
episode.
every time because
I
like,
mean ironically we are going to be expecting massive trauma because it's an ER, but
yeah.
um but like I don't need like a pit fest sort of season every season like that
Yeah, and we
prolongs,
don't
but
need it to
like
be we don't need a holiday, which by the way,
fluctuate.
I would assume for 4th of July that I know we saw it was like busy at service some other stuff. I feel like 4th of July is more interesting once the sun goes down and those fireworks are coming out. And maybe it would have gotten boring, but I just feel like people are probably pretty chill till about 3 and then from 3 p.m. on
Yeah.
it should get a little
Well,
crazier.
watching this season, especially in a binge, I love the summer. This show made me anxious of doing activities of normal people. Like I could just be walking down the street and then all of a sudden need to be intubated. And I'm like, no, this stresses me out.
They're going to try not to intubate you though. The one thing they're
Yeah.
going to try, the season was a big thing about like don't intubate yet, which I thought was like based on Grey's Anatomy. I feel like they intubate people all the time. So I'm like, do you intubate or not? Like I don't know.
Which doctor would you want to save your life?
Oh, great
I
question.
read a,
Well, I think it
I
depends on
think,
what's going on with you because I think
yeah.
like certain people have good specialties and some don't. So it's like,
I skimmed an article on Betches earlier this week before I even caught up, and it was like ranking each doctor who I want to save my life, and Ogilvy was last, and it was like, Ogilvy, don't touch me.
yeah, I mean, not Ogilvy.
I think I would want Dr. Al-Hashimi.
I feel like I might be a Dr. Abbott. He just seems like very well rounded.
Oh yeah, I mean,
The
yeah,
the
he's
military
night
guy,
shot.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Night,
I
sorry
mean,
for night shift. If
yeah,
it's night, I'm going there. But he kind of veered a little bit to both.
yeah.
Um, though,
I
well,
mean,
we
I
haven't
would
seen her do
want
like
Dr.
stuff solo.
Ellis. Yeah, Dr. Ellis seems cool. She seems like a fun hang. I mean,
They're
she's
good.
not.
They're very good. The show has great casting.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
love
across the
Dr.
board.
Mohan. I'm gonna miss her a lot.
I am too, and I do think we both got closure but didn't because I think the hard part is that there's an expected amount of that we as viewers want as closure of like an exact like I know what I'm doing. I'm leaving like that we want that day to choose. But like life isn't like that and unfortunately like you could read through the lines. And I think it's a bummer for the actress to have to be let go, but I can also see the side of it which is like this was a day that was like a reckoning for her to like I need to make a decision to decide my future and we're not like you're not going to make that decision in 2 hours
Yeah.
necessarily. Like
Well, I hope she gets another opportunity in some show soon.
I do too. Or I hope
Um,
she comes back for like another season because it's not like impossible or
yeah. It's
like
also
whatever it
like
may be. Like it's
they.
just that that's what we're seeing with Ogilvy is that is it Ogilvy or Ogleby?
I think it's
Oh
Ogilvy with a V.
yeah, like he's at like Whitaker told him like go home and rest on this because it's like a very big decision to make in a day and that like the ER isn't necessarily for everybody, but if it's your passion, like you'll be excited to have this for a job. And it, for a lot of them, like it'll burn them out to be in that area. And I think
Yeah,
that's very
like Dr.
logical,
Javadi.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think that like every future doctor should do like a stint in the ER for like med school, like at the very least. Like I feel like that's like critical, like teaching, but
Yeah.
then like if they want to go into other areas, that's fine. But like I do think that's like one of the main places they should spend a more amount of time. Not, but again, I'm not a doctor, don't plan to be.
Yeah,
But I'm
exactly.
gonna.
Like
We've
we're
experienced
bystanders.
a lack of closure on the show already with Dr. Collins, who left for other reasons.
Yeah.
But like and she was like my favorite character in season one.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I think like yeah, if the show picked up 2 days later, then yes, that we would be disappointed. But like we don't know what the time jump necessarily
I've
will
heard
be.
that it's gonna
So
be like 4 months until Robbie's back in the middle of the winter.
so it'll be
Um,
yeah. So like if he's yeah, if his sabbatical is supposed
like
to be 3 months,
Thanksgiving
that makes
era, I
sense.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Or
I'm
Halloween.
bummed to lose her, but I do think like they were sort of setting it up all season that like she's not happy at this workplace. She's also not really happy in life. Like she needed a change
Yeah.
overall. Like she
Uh,
didn't love the system of it all.
no, yeah. I mean, the hospital system is suffocating in many ways, and
Yeah.
I think we saw that. Um, I know who I want to save my life. Dana.
Oh yeah,
Dana and
Dana's the
Emma.
best.
Yeah.
I loved Emma's the new nurse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was so sweet. I thought that was a nice storyline and almost like a little bittersweet because you know she's gonna get like either hardened over the years or like this is not the place for her.
Yeah.
If I actually know who should save my life now, just based on that he has a badge, Digby.
Digby.
Let Digby save
Yeah.
me.
I mean, Louis can also save me. Rest in peace, Louis. I love
Like
him.
any honestly, any of them, they all seem like pretty cool. Like nobody's really that bad of a doctor in there, which is good.
No, I don't like
Very
Monica.
good.
Monica the clerk, I hate her. The fill-in clerk, the white lady who came in to help when the things were,
Oh yeah, I mean
she was
obviously
like
that
kind of
doesn't yeah.
racist. I was like,
Yeah, we don't like her. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I'm thinking of no disrespect to the nurses of like the doc, like all of them seem like very competent doctors.
I honestly, I know we know what his struggles were, but like Dr. Langdon, like he can save me. Like
Yeah,
I
he's a
trust
good
him.
doctor. He fixed a man's
Yeah,
neck, took him out of paralysis. He
exactly.
has his demons, but like as we've seen, they all have their demons and they all have to address it. You got Dr. Alishimi's got seizures. He's an ex-addict. You got Mel was so distracted with her deposition, which I feel bad
Uh,
about.
a
That's
deposition
a
on the
weird
4th of
storyline that I
July.
wish would just end, by the way.
A
I
depo
so I saw people on thread. So I've been deep into threads lately.
Okay.
The algorithm really just gets you and hits. Highly recommend threads. And somebody brought up about the deposition on 4th of July. And a lot of people chimed in and be like, no, like when it comes to like law stuff, it's like you got to get it done whenever, and they will squeeze it in, and that people have done them on all holidays. So as much as it seemed bonkers, I guess in the grand scheme of holidays, like
Valid.
not as
Yeah.
holidays, but I don't know.
What's your karaoke song?
Wow. Okay.
Because you saw the
So
post-credit scene, right? Where they sang You Ought to
yes, of
Know?
course. My default go-to probably always is Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up. Because like it really gets the crowd going, you know?
Yeah.
Like and you don't really have to like be good at singing. It's just fun. People laugh at it. Like you can be trash at it. You're just getting rickrolled. Everyone laughs. And then if not, like if you have like another one, I like to do Everybody from Backstreet Boys. Because then you get like everyone.
Everybody.
What's yours?
Breaking Free from High School Musical.
Oh, that's a great one, especially if you
Yeah.
have a duet too. But
Yeah.
or if you do both voices.
Yeah. I feel like High School Musical, there's a couple good bangers there. I love a
Yeah,
Disney.
if I were to do a High School Musical
One of
karaoke,
my old ones used to be Before He Cheats, but now I don't do that one because it
yeah,
sucks.
that's a classic.
Yeah, but we don't
I,
like Harry Underwood anymore.
no, we don't. I if I do a High School Musical one, and then I'm trying to think also about like my range because I do keep in mind that like I'm not a good singer. So like how
Yeah.
bad am I torturing you? Because like I feel like in theory I'd want to do bet on it, but I feel like I would just annoy people. I don't know if it would work.
But that's a fun time.
I probably, you know, what, I think for a karaoke because it would get people going. I don't dance, which is my
I
favorite.
don't dance. I know you can. I don't want the
Not a
copyright,
chance.
but
Yeah,
it's such a good song.
it's so
The
good.
original
That's a
Challengers.
yeah. That one is somebody posted me about like baseball season. I was like, oh, baseball, you say?
Yeah.
I don't dance. That would be my High School Musical one if we had to.
Yeah, but I liked the Dr. Santos, Dr. King.
That
Um,
was a fun
uh,
one. Santos drives me a little. She does drive me crazy. And anybody who says like that they're fully defending her, like you can like her and also dislike her at the same
I
time.
feel
It's just
like,
she always wants to. I think my Santos thing is that she often projects trauma onto people. She goes to the number one extreme of what's happening,
yeah,
which I guess like you want to try to do, but sometimes you are like, hey, not every child is being beaten by their parents. Like it might be whatever that blood disorder was.
I 80% of the time I'm on Santos' side. I really appreciate because when I binged the Pitt's first season, I know a lot of people didn't like her, but I appreciate the fact that they always show her being exceptionally competent for the most part.
Yeah.
So like even though she's obnoxious and she kind of needs a little more chill, she's good at it, and I appreciate that from her writing that like you can have her be unlikable all you want, but she's also like a competent doctor, which also on the same thing with Robbie. Like he was such a prick this season, and I get that he's battling his demons, but like I found it insanely hypocritical for him to yell at Dr. Mohan about her panic attack when he had one last season. Like
I forgot about that.
he
Yeah, like I
that's
think I'm
literally
not
his Emmy. That's what he
I think
won
I
the Emmy for.
missed I think I wasn't as angry at Dr. Robbie as everybody else seems to be. And I think maybe I just didn't like clock it at the time, probably because I was thinking about like clearly what he's thinking of and what he's trying to do here.
Yeah.
I'm glad we didn't go. There were a few times where I think we thought they were going to go obvious routes with stuff too, where it's like everyone was talking about he doesn't have a helmet on when he rides his bike, and we all thought he was going to leave and crack his head open, or we all thought when Al Hashimi got behind the wheel that she was going to run Robbie over on the roof. Like there were obvious routes to take, which they didn't. So I did appreciate that element of it because I
Yeah.
think on any other show like we would have gotten like the obvious like kind of play for it.
Yeah, it's definitely like a more subdued version of storytelling. This, like, if
Yeah.
it was Grey's Anatomy, she would have hit him with the car.
She absolutely would have hit him. Somebody would have died. Like I
Yeah.
think it just is very like, hey, the shift's over. We're going home. We're doing this. You know, Robbie doesn't want to leave for a mix of like he can't leave, doesn't want to leave, knows he should leave. Like I think there was interesting elements, but he was not being I think maybe I forgot like how he would behave season one in comparison. And maybe I thought this was consistent and not him being like super extra cranky this time around. Other than a few, obviously there are a few moments where I was like, dude, you're a little extreme.
I know the show is about him first and foremost. Like he's the main character. It is an ensemble piece, but like I wish it was more ensemble focused this season, and it felt very much more like, oh, this is Robbie's story first and foremost. And like on one hand, I recognize that, but on the other hand, I don't have to like it. I wish it was more
Yeah.
ensemble. I mean, his face is actually the poster this season. Not that it wasn't the first season, but I felt like you could see other background characters in the poster versus this is literally just Noah Wiley's face. And if you're gonna have that, I think like you need to have some more something else other than just like if you're I wish they like focused a little bit more on like storylines carrying over from the first season, like his nephew that
Yeah, I think it's just hard because I think the thing that you lose when you do these time jumps, it's like, but you lose and you gain. And so, like,
yeah.
it's been like what? It was 8 months. So, like, all these things
But
probably, I
like that's
mean,
probably building up. Like some it could be more than just an offhand comment about his nephew. Like we could see like some impact or like a discussion about like oh how the relationship is part of his mental decline and
yeah,
depression because he couldn't like they have strife because his nephew's girlfriend died and
yeah,
yeah, so I don't know, I felt like there was just a it felt like there were times where it felt like the show forgot what it had done and the continuity aspect of it, like again he yells at Mohan for something he experienced in the first season.
right. The other thing I was kind of thinking was because it comes up a bit with Santos when she's like, I got, like, I'm the one who told on Langdon, everyone's iced me out for a year because of it. But then somebody in passing also mentions that, like, you've been like hard to work with, like that the way your attitude is also causing this. And I think that one thing I guess I could think of, and this is maybe just like projecting too much to justify everything, would be like, there's been 8 months we like how many times has like Mohan had like issues with her mom like has it been building and
Yeah.
growing and that like she's has has she lost patience that we're not seeing is Santos like seemingly is being an asshole to people a lot like has a tude even though Langdon wasn't there you know those sort of
Mhm.
things like maybe it's all been building maybe Robbie's been cranky for quite some time like him and Dana were going at it so I think there's almost like but they don't have the time in the show and the luxury to talk about what happened in those 8 months because like they've just been working and doing cases.
Yeah,
But I guess if you
but
think about like, oh,
uh,
like life has happened between these things, that's why I kind of joke about Santos, which is like every time she does it, like if you keep doing it every day for 8 months, like eventually like you're crying wolf. So like, when she did it that first time, I was like, are we really doing this storyline again? Like, did she not like is this just like a, in coincidence time? Like, is this what we're going to do every time with Santos? But thankfully, it was just like a
Mhm.
one and done. But yeah,
I This is also a Becca Stan account. I love Becca. And that Mel has to learn boundaries.
that was a very interesting, like not twist, but like angle for the story. I thought it was
Yeah.
really a nice turn on it.
Yeah, and I wonder if we'll meet Adam in season 3.
I'm
Um,
intrigued.
yes, I wonder what that means for like Mel, like if she and Santa, like imagine like the cohort that hangs out after work. Like, first of all, go get some sleep. Like, what are y'all doctors
That's
doing?
what, yeah, like
They're falling
because
asleep
everyone also went to the
charting.
roof too. You fall asleep charting, then they're all out drinking on the roof to watch fireworks, and then still going out again afterwards. And I guess you got to get out there, but I felt tired just for them.
Agreed. And I
I'm
also
like
heard
done
that
my regular job, and I'm not working in ER. I'm ready for a nap. 20 minutes after I'm done for the day.
indeed. And yeah, like you said, you're not even in the ER. You're not seeing people die. Like I would be
Yeah.
exhausted. Did you have any patients that you really liked this season? Besides Becca,
Hmm.
of course.
I don't know. Not really, because if you ask me, and maybe it's just as we talk about, we remember things that we gripe about. I remember the people who kind of annoyed me. I did think the sunburn girl was kind of funny because she was just
Yeah.
like background, like she wasn't really like her story was not like a big thing.
Same with the
But
orange
she was
girl
kind of
who
yeah, she was just like around, kind of like in her swimsuit, and they show like that
yeah.
they're trying to get her to walk around and stuff. Um, sad to lose. Oh my God, what's his name? Louis.
Louis,
Losing Louis was very devastating.
that was also Roxy, the mom who had cancer, who says that like
Okay,
that's
so
where I cried this season.
oh, did you? I don't think I cried. I that one I was
I
a
cried
little
a lot
like,
more the first season, but
yeah.
that it wasn't when she died. It was the conversation that Dr. McKay had with her son.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
where I
I think it
cried.
was more like I felt bad and I was kind of like
Yeah.
in terms of pit time too, because it is like, a 12-hour day. And I understand it's realistic, but I was kind of like, okay, how long's the storyline going for? Because like it was a little.
Yeah.
Though it was
Um,
great to see Oliver from the OC as an Oliver defender. Great to
that
see him
was
acting again.
that was the husband.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I've never
You
seen the
did
OC.
not?
I've never
Oh.
seen the OC. I need to. Pop culture blind spot. But yeah. Anything else you want to add
Oh, I
about?
love Digby. I mean, Digby was.
Oh,
I thought
Digby's, of
Digby was a
course. Yeah.
wonderful story.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
did you
so
catch
nice.
up? Wait, did you
Actually,
catch?
if I did almost cry, like closest to like cry would be when they cleaned up Digby, and then someone
Talked
was like,
about
I
his
didn't
wife,
recognize him, and
his
then he was like
daughter.
that he wasn't. Yeah, that they wouldn't recognize him, and they wouldn't know who he is. Like that was like,
I
oh,
love Digby. Was Digby in the first season or no?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Um, no, there was another. Did you catch Karofsky from Glee?
No.
He was the douchey golf guy's friend. Uh,
Oh, the douchey golf guy was an interesting one. Not that I wanted, Emma to be choked.
yeah.
But I thought that was an interesting patient
Well,
twist and like everything because then like Dana had to is like having
it's
to
also
cover it
like
up and
then
all that
it
stuff.
brings back stuff from the first season when she gets punched and like how she
Yeah.
has like her protection at all times there with her like speaking of I just saw that man in the Malcolm in the Middle reboot, the guy who punched Dana
Oh
because
yeah,
he
you mentioned you were watching it. I maybe I've been on another planet, and maybe it's because the show was not like something that I was into. I had no idea they were rebooting Malcolm in the Middle.
it was like a 4 episodes, it's more of a movie than anything.
I had
Um
no idea that I have not even heard of this, and I
m-
felt very out of touch. But I
m-
also was not. I'm not a Malcolm gal. Wasn't for
I
me.
I've seen every episode of Malcolm in the Middle. There's very few things I could actually tell you about the show. Like I remember like more of the Francis storylines because like when it's everything happening in the same episode, usually it's like Malcolm and shenanigans with the family, but then Francis is off like doing like season-long arcs in Alaska and then at the farm. And like I remember like those beats, but I like, remember some characters, but I couldn't like there's not a ton of episodes I could recall
Yeah,
other
no,
than I
nothing.
just remember I've seen every episode. I love Dewey. But it was a fun, nice, like authentic feel to the show. I did feel at times, and I know a friend of the pod, Robbie Freeman, also said this, but like sometimes it's hard to see Bryan Cranston not just think of Bryan Cranston
Yeah,
anymore. Like
he
it's
was.
like
This was like before he was like famous, like, and he was
yeah,
like famous for that. Like this was really like he's kind of
yeah.
like big breakout role
I
actually.
mean, and then also like tying it to the Pit, his daughter's on the Pit. The Pit's just like a nepotism hospital for Dr.
It's a
Javadi.
Nepo baby hospital.
When they
Well, it is a. Do you wait? Do you know because you're not on Threads? Do you know if I say a, a Pittsburgh themed hospital in Hawaii, what I'm talking about?
No.
So there's a whole Threads meme that somebody watched the pit and was confused because they thought it took place in Hawaii and it was like a Pittsburgh themed hospital in Hawaii. So it's like a huge running gag about so and if you look in one of the episodes, I think in the finale or the penultimate, there's an episode where there's a palm tree because it was like a continuity error. And then people are like, no, 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 no. This is a Pittsburgh themed hospital that's based in Hawaii. That's totally normal. But it's one of my favorite lores now of like Threads
There's
memes
probably a
is
palm tree in Los Angeles when they
yeah,
filmed.
absolutely. But I love the running joke of it is a Pittsburgh themed
That's so
hospital
funny.
located in
I'm gonna start
Hawaii.
bringing that up.
Yeah, look it up on Threads. It's so funny. Yeah, it's just somebody
Yeah.
who genuinely was like, they watched the show, didn't know, was so confused, thought it took place in Hawaii.
That's hilarious. That's so funny. But yeah, that's like everything I have on my notes. Anything that we haven't hit on that you wanted to talk about?
I don't think so. I think we've covered all of our main things. Just, we're in our movie drought. We've got plenty of shows
Blockbuster
to fill in
season's
the
about
gaps.
to kick
Yeah,
off.
it's like coming. We have like it's nice, I guess, to get a little bit of a break
Yeah.
until full force. But then I'm also seeing like a bunch and I'm like, what am I can't it feels like nothing, but there's a lot coming.
I mean,
All I can
this
think of is minions and monsters.
I will be set for Disclosure
Oh, of
Day,
course. Oh, Disclosure Day, that looks great. What else
Spider-Man
is
Brand
there?
New Day around our birthday, Toy Story 5 I'll be set for.
Oh, I forgot. Is that this summer?
That's
It
the
feels like
summer.
it's always forever
Do you
away.
know who the villain is?
I know it's like an iPad,
Yeah,
right?
an
Okay, do
iPad
we know
called
who the voice
LilyPad.
is?
Greta Lee
Who's Greta Lee?
from Past Lives. She's in the morning show. Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting choice in
Yeah.
casting. Intriguing.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Did you see Hoppers?
I didn't. That was one that like it
You
kept
would be
slipping and then I didn't.
delighted.
I know. That's probably the last one that like if I were to go use a movie pass, I should go to that. But
Like I
that
am
makes
willing
sense.
to when you come back on the pod and talk about it, we are gonna have the discussion that that is a Mount Rushmore Pixar villain.
Interesting. I
I'm
was
ready to have
afraid
this.
I'm trying to figure out, and maybe you can tell me, like the hard part of Pixar movies of seeing them in theaters is not knowing what level of an emotional breakdown you're going to have in a public area.
I didn't
What's
cry for
the,
this one,
yeah,
but people got teary-eyed. I cried during Elio. I cried during Elemental. Did not cry during Lightyear. Um,
I haven't seen Lightyear. Actually, I
Inside
haven't seen
Out
any of those, but
2, I think I got
I was like, I will never watch Lightyear. I have no interest.
Inside Out 2, I think a tear streamed down my face, but I don't think I cried.
What movie
Uh,
did I go to recently where I just like lost it in the theater? Well, at the end of Hamnet, I did. That was a good cry fest. I'm
you're the
trying to remember.
one
There was something
who
else too where recently I just like sat there and I just like sobbed.
I don't remember the last time I cried in a theater. I cried. I cried during the Malcolm in the Middle.
Did you?
There was a speech, and then during the pit when McKay had that conversation with the son. I'm trying to think. I mean, I cried during Australian Survivor vs. the World.
I mean, I get teary during stuff, but I'm trying to think. There was like a few times in movie theaters because that one's harder where you have to let you're like, oh my God, I don't want everyone to like hear me cry. Where you're
Yeah,
like, I want to audibly sob, but I can't. Now I can't remember, and I don't have my phone to look at Letterbox because I
I
probably
think the
would have
last
known.
one that I like completely like hysterically lost it. More so not like in the movie, but like getting home. Like when I parked my car at my apartment and I just like sat in my car for like 30 minutes, just like listening to sad music, heaving, was the Andrew Garfield, Florence Pugh one, We Live in Time.
Oh boy, that looked like too much of a downer for
Yeah.
me.
And then similarly, I also cried a ton watching the Robert Zemeckis movie here with Tom Hanks and Robin Wright. It's the one
Oh,
in the
that one
house.
that one looks like Forrest Gump 2.0.
It's Carousel of Progress, the movie, basically.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah,
Heard. Yeah, I
heard.
can't remember. There was something recently though that I went in when I left. I actually Project Hail Mary, I cried a bit in. Had to hold it back. I think knowing the book helped. And I think actually the movie subdued like some of the sad stuff.
Hmm.
More than like when I read the book and I was like in public, like starting to be like,
Yeah.
maybe that was it. Maybe I cried during a book. I don't know. I got to look at my list, but unfortunately, I'm
Hmm.
device free.
Exactly. But Mel, where can the good people keep up with you and all your adventures?
You can follow me at Mel Got Served, kind of on all the platforms. Just search the name. I'm
Yes,
probably there. That's the easiest way.
exactly. And in terms of me, Brazilian Dragon Productions, we got Slime Time Rewind with some more fun stuff. Recently did a project with AJ. We did the whole podcast thing. It was the 20-year anniversary of All Grown Up. Silly geese. It was 23, but
Yeah.
well, we had fun. We talk about how we would talk about which Rugrat would be where in the queer spectrum, the political spectrum.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and then we talked about who would be the most fun at a blunt rotation, and I said the parents, Betty and Stu.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. And we also know where Betty and Stu probably voted.
yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. I think yeah,
Angelica and Drew and Charlotte, I don't trust them, but everyone else, I feel like
yeah,
is Susie's an ally. Uh, uh, Lil, we're skeptical about Lil. Phil is probably queer, but Lil, we don't
yeah.
know. But in terms of that, and then AJ and I are also kicking off an Animation Station Pixar Season 1 podcast, so we're going to recap every single Pixar movie. Definitely going to get Mel on the podcast to have her
I know I
takes on
can't
certain
figure
stuff.
out what to choose. You asked, and I was
We
like,
could also do a
so
general
many.
episode, like with just like you chatting about like generic Pixar takes.
It's that, or I was like, maybe if you want me to just like absolutely spiral on air, we just talk about cars, where I lose
AJ
my mind over
AJ
cars.
said Cars is a Mount Rushmore Pixar movie.
Oh, it's speech. I was gonna trying to make a joke about Mount Rushmore, but yeah.
But yeah, so that's so for now, if you want to listen to the Animation Station Pixar Kickoff podcast, that is exclusive to Patreon and Substack people. It will come out to the general public eventually, but for now, it's a Patreon exclusive. Otherwise, Animation Station, Slimetime Rewind, go subscribe on your favorite podcast platforms. They'll all be in the Brazilian Dragon main feed as well. But if you are interested in helping boost the portfolio of Brazilian Dragon Productions, that would be appreciated. Follow me on Instagram at the Brazilian Dragon, or follow my main at With the Fleep. I also have a show in Woodland Hills, April 30th at the Mazar Mediterranean Restaurant, the Lonnie Dangerous stand-up show. It's a free show. Just get a table, order an appetizer, support the restaurant. But come support comedy with me and friends, and I'm excited about that. April 30th in Woodland Hills. But otherwise, yeah, just tell me and Mel that you had fun listening to this. Tell us if we should do a Fast and the Furious podcast series. And tell us what you think of any of these projects, where you stand on our length of time discussion with Project Hail Mary and the drama, which doctor you want to save your life in the pit, if what song you would want to sing in the coochie. Yeah, just let us know. Anything else you want to share, Mel?
Nope. Just drive safe in the Gucci.
Yes, and Team Aubrey, Team Suri, and until next time, everybody, obrigadero for listening. Goodbye.